This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where all my friends and I get together and we gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where we all get together and we watch something and talk over it because playing something and talking over it is too hard sometimes. And $2 is the grab bag tier. It's everything else. That's just how I'm gonna boil it down nowadays. So that's patreon.com/thegorge. You may think, Sarah, you're going through this pretty quickly. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So, thank you. If you already are a contributor, if you aren't, why not? You get a cool Discord badge.
Yeah, you get a little hamburger. I drew it.
It'll turn you into a hamburger.
Don't you want a hamburger?
You also get to do amazing things like watch House of the Dead 2 with us.
That's right.
Truly a fantastic movie that's definitely worth your time.
I'm putting Ben to the torch for that one.
Ben, I think genuinely if someone joins your Patreon to get that live commentary track and then watches House of the Dead 2, we are obligated to refund them.
We actually do have to give them.
I would feel bad taking their money for making them do self-harm.
Yeah. Anyways, hey, it's a roundup episode, so we're talking about stuff we done did and stuff that done happened. The news is going to be a bummer this week, so let's talk about what we did.
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Saturn, do you want to get Traum out of the way real fast?
Yeah, we'll get Traum out of the way. Well, I'll get the other thing out of the way, and then I'll talk about the elephant in the room. My week has been continuing my Hunter x Hunter rewatch. Mm-hmm. I'm almost done already. I think I have 6 episodes left.
Oh god, you really did just chew through that.
I thought it would take longer, but the thing happened to me in this rewatch that happened to me the first time that I thought wasn't going to happen, but happened. Which is there's a certain part of Hunter x Hunter. It's very deep in. I want to say it starts around episode 111, I think.
Okay.
At which you do not, for fucking anything, want to stop watching the show. Only the physical restraints of your meager human body that needs sleep want you to actually turn off the show.
It is very similar to reading all of The Lost Light in a single night.
Yep, understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Which actually, I don't remember if I did it all in a single day or not.
I think you did almost all of Lost Light in a day.
In one sitting, yeah.
Yeah, it was either 1 or 2 sittings. It was not a long time, because that's what it's like.
But yeah, Hunter x Hunter has the same thing happen. I would say at about the point at which it goes from being More Than Meets the Eye to being Lost Light, once you get to Lost Light itself, it's like, I don't want to take a break. I just want to keep going.
It's gotta go.
Fuck no.
It becomes... It's a thing where, and I will say, because I'm not going to talk about it next week probably, because I'm going to finish it. Maybe tonight, honestly, depending if we do any talking after this or not. But not only did I enjoyed the thing I went in hoping to enjoy as much as I did the first time, but also all the other shit, I liked it way more the second watch than I did the first time, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
And so I came away from my Yu Yu Hakusho watch kind of thinking man, Yu Yu Hakusho, it was a better thing to watch than Inuyasha, but also fuck does Togashi waste a lot of time not doing the thing the show is about nominally.
Right, yeah.
So I was expecting Hunter x Hunter to be kind of questionable revisit, but it was a ton of fun, and it's really great battle shonen. Chimera Ant arc continues to be undefeated. I'm still holding myself to reading through at least the first half of One Piece so I can see if the thing I was promised was a similar spectacle, how that compares.
Understandable.
I do think that they are similar vibes in that they answer the same question with completely different answers, and they're both valid. So I think you'll at the very least enjoy going, huh, that was a different answer or a different read than what I was expecting.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the pitch that I would actually we talked a bit about it, but I think the thing that watching the end of it ultimately kind of brings me to is if you told me that Because, like, I know for a fact that Togashi, like, has a ton of respect for Akira Toriyama, right? Like, everybody fucking does.
Of course,
But, like, obviously Togashi does. He's, like, every artist of that generation, especially, is, like, super inspired by DBZ.
Right.
But I think Hunter x Hunter, aside from being a chance for him to redo all the things he liked to do in Yu Yu Hakusho, but, like, better, is him reading the Cell Saga and going, I have fundamental disagreements with most of the things that happen in the Cell Saga.
Is it?
Okay.
Does he disagree with the fact that everyone in the Cell Saga is an utter moron?
I don't think he disagrees with that. I think here's the thing. Hunter x Hunter is a show where your main character is Gohan and your dad is Goku.
Sure.
And it's a show that is about how ultimately horrifying that is.
Right. Okay. So
Also,
that does sound like the Cell Saga / Android Saga. Yeah, that makes sense.
A thing also that I found out only on this rewatch, because I watched the dub this time instead of the sub. Goku, Gon's dad, Jing Freaks, is voiced by the English dub actor for Guts Berserk.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Amazing.
So you have a guy who is Goku, is voiced by Guts, and looks like an adult version of Yusuke Urameshi, and it's like, all right,
Okay,
cool.
I get it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The other thing is Traum.
The other thing is Traum.
Sounds to me like they should have put an extra A on the end of that word.
A little, but it's more okay. Well, real quick, I also have been playing Final Fantasy VII on stream. FF7 is still very good. It continues to remind me that I think the pacing of the remakes is extremely whack. You know,
The remakes are very grand and slow, but in a way that I like, but is also, I think, I like the original better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. So far, I am enjoying the original significantly more. But that being said, other than that, Traum. Traum is the newest FGO plot arc. Saturn crushed it in a day. I crushed it in 2. Traum is really good. I was really worried because Traum is like specifically the arc that I have been waiting for 2 years because it talks about all the shit in FGO that I'm interested in, aka the Sherlock Holmes characters. And so I was like, if Traum is bad, I'll probably just die. Like, I'll probably just have to die if Traum is bad.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I was excited for it because Astolfo is in it.
Mm-hmm. And Astolfo is a major character in it, and Astolfo is very cool in it. So
Astolfo being in it got me through Agartha.
That's right, which is really saying something.
I'm starting to learn, by the way, Saturn,
that
your relationship with Astolfo, compared to the greater FGO, organization, is a lot like my relationship with Spider-Man compared to the rest of the Marvel organization, which is like,
correct.
If you have a big compilation thing going on with a lot of different characters, I'm scanning that group shot for Spider-Man.
And if it's got Spider-Man in it,
just imagine it. It's the equivalent of it's your special relationship with Spider-Man, but for a character that is popular, but not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And not for the reason Spider-Man is popular.
Well, no.
To certain people, maybe.
I've seen videos on the internet.
Yeah, I've seen the fan art, trust me.
It would be like if your specific heat was like Miles Morales Spider-Man and not like the other Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like just Miles Morales kind of deal. Anyway, but yeah, you are correct.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, Traum has a lot of Astolfo. It has a lot of the Sherlock characters. And it's just good. Like, everything I'd been hearing about it leading up to the release of Traum was that, it was fine. And I was like, okay, so it's like a B+. I can handle a B+. Fuck no, I got out of Traum and I was like, that's an A, baby. That was a great little story chapter. It's fantastic.
It's very funny to me how, so Sakurai's first chapter at bat after Olympus was Heian-kyo.
Yes.
And it was hitting the Olympus hits, but worse a lot of the time. Higashine's first at bat after Atlantis is Atlantis again, but
Yeah.
like even though he hits a lot of the same beats, they're different and they're also good, and it makes me go, man, Heian Kyo could have been really good if you didn't make Sakurai write it immediately after finishing Olympus. What the fuck is your problem?
Actually, the thing that really struck me is that it's like it's Higashide hitting a lot of the same beats as Atlantis, but kind of like in the way that Heian Kyo was like kind of went back over ideas from Olympus. Traum kind of goes back to ideas from Lost Belt 6. Like there's a lot of like parallels there. There's like a Berserker Queen. There's like your weird extra class like pretty boy who you don't know what his fucking deal is, but he's the final boss. There's like 3 warring factions. Like there's a lot of the same kind of ideas, but where Lost Belt 6 is like a fucking death march. Traum is mostly just a good time, right? Like it's mostly just fun and a good time instead of giving you an existential crisis the way Lost Belt 6 gave me.
It's a very Saturday morning cartoon, like, kind of feel, but also, like, it's still, like, serious. It's just that it has a lot of goofy characters and very heightened, like, kind of, like, arbitrary stakes, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, it feels very much like a shonen arc, and more so than a lot of, like, FGO arcs do, but it's not, like, too goofy.
No, it's never too goofy, but, like, it is the Higashide thing that they do in Atlantis, which is, like, all of the character interactions are really fun and a little light, and like the dialogue is really good. Like Higashide just writes really good dialogue.
Higashide has great character voice control.
You have such a good idea of what everybody is like just by a handful of lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just he just writes everybody super well. He never like everybody's kind of goofy and fun, but it doesn't ever feel like he's making fun of your favorite character, right? Like, it's super easy, like, again, like in Astolfo or Roland or whoever, it's super easy to fall into that trap of, like, feeling like you're making fun of them instead of having fun with them, and Higashide totally avoids that. Like, it's just a good time. It's great. I loved Traum from literally beginning to end.
I also felt very seen because I read a good chunk of Don Quixote at the end of last year, and whenever things were happening in the story involving Don Quixote, I was pointing at the screen like, I know that.
I understand the reference.
I understand what happens now when, like, a Japanese reader who has an actual interest in, like, mythology and history and stuff encounters a character who's, like, you know, like someone from the Heian era or whatever, and it's like, oh, I know their story.
I know what's going on with you. Yeah.
I know your whole deal. You don't even have to say anything.
This is what great. The reference.
This is the reference. Don Quixote is an extremely fun character in FGO. I just really liked all of Traum. I was really nervous that I wasn't going to like Traum, or that Traum was just going to be fine. It was going to be mid. It was going to be like Lost Belt 1, right? And I was like, please no. Please God, no. I need it to be good because I just need it to be good. Fucking Tunguska was fine. Fine to bad, you know?
I tend to be... I think my reactions to the parts tend to be colder than yours on average, and I, like, was really upset by finishing Tunguska. Yeah. I still thought Traum was good. Like, I think you gave Traum an A. I would probably give it an A- just because some of the things didn't hit quite as hard for me. But, like, it's still, like, that's just good Higashide. Like, that's just good
Higashide.
Like, I might not like it as much as Atlantis, but that's still, like, a top 2 or 3 Higashide arc, like, period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. I just really, really enjoyed it. And now we have to wait until fucking Christmas. We have to wait until Christmas.
I'm just glad that everybody finally knows the secret that Traum's hiding, because people...
Oh, yeah.
I literally left a friend group that me and Sarah were in because they just spoiled Traum when it came out.
Yeah, I literally left that Discord because they were trying to spoil Traum for me, and I was like, I'm out. Nope, I'm not letting it happen. I'll wait 2 years. I don't give a fuck. That being said, the end of Traum is exactly as insane as the last episode of Twin Peaks, the original series.
Oh!
Yeah, whenever people were saying ahead of time, I was like, well, the thing with Traum is it's like, it's not like, no one really cares that much about it, and it's technically optional, so you don't have to do it. And I played Traum, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking? There are apparently fans in JP who are like, you can skip Traum. Listen to me. Under no circumstances are you to skip Traum. Traum is vital. Just to explain everything. So yeah, you should play Traum. It's extremely good. It is the most insane way to end an FGO plot arc I've maybe ever seen, and I really, really liked it. I can't wait to roll for young Moriarty next week.
Yay!
So,
Out of curiosity, last bit on it, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
How many turns did the final boss take you?
Oh God, I trivialized it. Are you kidding me?
Wonderful. I'm glad. I 4-turned that little shit.
Yeah, no. I absolutely. I beat his ass up and down the street. It was goofy. I
had the thing that I have with I think the end of every arc at this point, which they get to the final boss and I'm like, all right, big Jolter, big Nabu, come on out, it's time to play, and then just watching them horribly just incinerate this fucking boss into the dirt.
Just dog walk this boss. I don't think I 4-turned it, but it was over extremely quickly because the last boss of Traum is a ruler, right? And so I have discovered that the ultimate murder combination for me is Van Gogh and Kagekyo. That is an unstoppable fuck train of destruction. It rules.
I do not have
recommend.
I do not have a Van Gogh. My strategy is lead with Jolter. Middle's Nabu if Jolter gets tired. Not middle like slot, but like the middle DPS. If somehow I get really desperate and they both have to tap out, I have a Kagekyo in the back. Everyone else is a support servant.
That's correct, exactly.
And it's just all it is just I press the button that makes you explode. 600,000 damage per turn. Die, buff block, burn, curse, die.
Yeah.
I can't wait for me to be able to do that fight with Kiara just to see how big her numbers are. Because I have the anti-ruler append skills on her.
Oh yeah, that's
maxed out.
That's a good point.
That is and just to say that this is not related to Traum at all, but I gotta point it out. Traum is when I started using Taisui from the most recent event. Actually using him in encounters, he's good as fuck.
Oh, good. I haven't used him that much. I have his skills up. I have him up to like the normal 666 spread. I haven't done much with him though.
His gimmick is that like after he does his NP, everything gets cursed, and then all of those curses, if everybody dies except for if you have like a boss that has like a ton of HP and then a bunch of underlings, right? Actually, I'm realizing I should have used him to clear the challenge quest for the Super Bunny event. Fuck! Anyways, God damn it! I'm realizing
I would say you can do it next time, but there's not going to be a next time.
Fuck! That's actually, I didn't even think about that. Well, I didn't know how to... Anyways, the point is, if you have like a boss and then like a bunch of underlings on the screen, and then Taisui's NP kills all of those underlings, all of those curses get transferred to the person who's still alive. So in some encounters, Taisui's curse damage is 12,000 a turn.
That's insane.
Yeah. So really good welfare. I highly recommend. And Traum was super, super good. I loved basically every character except for Konstantinos. He was lame.
I mean, sometimes look, there's a reason that he was the banner before the thing came out. And it's because they're like, look, it's Emmerich. If you want him, you want him. I know that you don't.
Nobody wants him. He's really boring. His Noble Phantasm is cartoonishly bad for a 5-star. Like, it might be one of the worst in the game. It's really high up there.
Isn't it just Mashes but worse?
It's just Mashes but worse. Yeah.
What a waste.
It's such a waste. Yeah, no. It sucks ass. I do not recommend it. They really got the artist for like Fire Emblem to make a character and then just instantly squandered them.
And that's it.
Oh, cool.
That's the only one they did.
That's the only one they've ever done.
What a waste.
Yeah, literally the artist for 3 Houses specifically. So like the really cool, like that really good artist. That's the only one they've ever done. And he's the most bog standard, boring looking, like pretty boy, dark haired, like kingly type character. He's Emmerich, right? Like he's pretty, but that's it.
Missed opportunity to not have that artist do Gudako art.
God,
Because just imagine Gudako with girl eyeless, like huge dead eyes.
I know. And
Just
like,
imagine.
they've done a they did a CE. They did one of the Knights of the Round Table CEs, but that's it.
No,
And yeah, it's a shame. So, you know, but I am going to go broke rolling for Ruler Moriarty because his damage is really bad, so he really needs that second.
Yeah.
His damage is really, like, it was funny playing, like, they let you play as him during Traum in a few places.
Yeah, because he's a new servant, and they're like,
he's a new
here's your demo. We don't do those anymore, so you get it in the plot.
Right. So, and I was, like, playing with him, and I kept using his Noble Phantasm, and I'm like, baby bird, your damage is so bad. So, yeah.
He's afflicted with ruleritis.
He's got that ruler disease, but unlike other ruler characters, I don't think he has the attack stat to back it up. So, oops.
I have Himiko and Karen, so I think I'm good for rulers for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I have NP2 Karen, but this is a roll for love.
That's right.
You know,
and to be fair, I also love him. I don't think I'm going to spend a ton of resources rolling for him. I would love to have him, though. He's very funny.
The difference between Sara and Saturn is Sara would roll for Moriarty Lily, and Saturn would roll for Columbus Lily.
That's correct.
I would also roll for Moriarty Lily, just like not that interestedly, which is how I know like I would spend 30 quartz rolling an 11 pull and get him first try.
Yeah, but no, that's what I mean though. You wouldn't go whole hog for Moriarty Lily the same way you would for Columbus Lily.
Right.
When we get to anniversary, I'm going to take bets on what people think is going to happen first. I roll a 3-star Zufu, a character that I want, or I roll the 5-star archetype Earth who I don't give a fuck about.
Positive it's gonna be.
You're gonna get the 5-star.
Yeah, you're gonna hit that 5-star first,
every fucking time.
Absolutely. Sorry.
You're gonna get 2 of the 5-star and none of the 3-star.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because like, and then you'll have like another like, you know, insane god tier farming machine, and you're like, I don't need this.
I don't need you. I don't need Zufu either, but I love Zufu. Where's Zufu?
It's fun. I need more.
Zufu machine broke. Where's my Zuzu?
Where's my Zuzu?
I like, because that's a dialogue option, by the way, is to call her Zuzu or not. And I do wonder if that's a secret flag where if you take that, you just call her Zuzu for the rest of the thing, because that's what happened to me.
That's what happened to me too. So I am assuming that if you call her Zuzu once, you just keep calling her that, which just fucking wins.
The problem is that Ritsuka Fujimaru FGO is extremely funny.
Very funny character. Like we were talking about, there's a bit.
There's a bit where someone does their own bit, and everyone else is just disgusted by them and like is trying to sandbag them, and they just sort of give up and dejected, and then Ritsuka goes in for it, and everyone else is annoyed with Ritsuka for not having sandbagged it, and the person who everyone hated is so taken aback by the fact that anyone actually went for it that they leave you hanging for a minute because they're just like, you didn't sandbag. Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
It
it's
rules.
So good.
It's so good. I love Traum. Yeah, highly recommend. Great story arc. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got.
I'll get there eventually. I'm literally working on it right now.
Where you at?
I'm still in Babylonia.
Hey, you know what? You're in Babylonia and not in Camelot, so that's progress.
Right.
Unlike me, I'm still in Camelot.
Well, you have a bad phone. Eventually, you'll get a new computer, and you can just put BlueStacks on your computer.
Yeah, I'm like 2 weeks away from being able to have enough, I think.
Yay! And then you can finally play FGO again, and also, I guess that MMORPG that ate all of our lives. It's fine.
It's true.
I don't know what that is.
No, don't worry about it. There's this video game called Final Fantasy XIV.
No, tell me more.
They made 14 of those fucking things?
They made 16 of them, Saturn.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, you're way out of date, my friend.
I would have expected more. That didn't meet my expectations.
So-
We're gonna have to go multi-plat on future Final Fantasy releases
Oh,
until
no.
I meet my expectations. Sorry, we can't get to that yet, so people still need to talk about their weeks.
Yeah. Who's next?
I'll talk about mine. So I'm barreling through Deep Space Nine, and decided on not finishing Voyager because Voyager really can't stand up to Deep Space Nine.
You
That's
should.
right.
Here's the thing: if you skip to the very end of Voyager, you still need to see the end of Voyager. It's really important.
Oh no,
Right.
I know I need to get to the end because like I know how it ends and I want to see it again. However, Deep Space Nine numero uno. I just recently got to I'm in season 4, so Michael Dorn is now in the cast list.
What?
Oh, shh. Don't worry about it.
Oh, whatever. No, it's fine. Continue. That's fine.
Wait, what?
What season are you on, Sam?
I'm still in
what?
season 3.
Okay, then we won't say anything else. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, anyway, Quark's my favorite character. That's literally all
That's
I'm
the
trying
most
to say.
important part.
Oh, yay!
Okay.
Yay!
Jesus Christ!
You're ahead of Saturn now.
How am I?
Congratulations.
Wait, 1. How am I ahead of Saturn? And 2.
How are you ahead of Saturn? Motherfucker, I've been watching 250 episodes of Tagashi anime for the last 2 months! What do you mean, how are you ahead of Saturn?
I don't care anymore. Anyway, season 4 is great. I love Bashir. Quark is my favorite character. I understand why we made Odo Blurb of the Year, but I think
That's
that
correct.
we wasted our vote.
No.
Quark is
That giant bat-eared capitalist like fuck shit
No.
is like the best character.
He's not a Blorbo. He's a Scrimblow.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
okay,
He's a
okay.
scribble. He's in
Okay,
he's
I
in the
take that.
Neko arc category.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Yeah, there's the Venn diagram of Neko Arc and Quark is just nearly a circle.
I see.
You know what I mean?
The only difference is how marketable the plushies are.
I think
Yeah.
you could sell Quark if they sold him like that one Tumblr artist who draws him like a koala bear.
I didn't say it was unmarketable. I just said it was a difference in marketability.
Different kind of
I
marketable.
see. So, I'm barreling through it. Every now and then I switch over to Voyager, but I'm not going anywhere near as quickly a clip.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, I have picked up 2 JRPGs, so I can just kind of play on the Switch and like kind of wander around and do my thing. First off, I picked up Trials of Mana, so I can actually like finally do more than one playthrough with it.
Mhm.
Much like Devil May Cry, the 3rd entry in the series is unmatched, and everything else is, even if it comes close, a downgrade from there. Like it's all downhill from
Until
DMC3.
until the 5th one comes out, and then it's a marked improvement. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna kill you with a hammer. Sure, she says, motherfucker.
Look, all I'm saying is Legends and Sword of Mana were the 4th, 5th, and 6th entry of the series.
Uh-huh.
Don't ask how that works. Bad.
Well,
it's all downhill from there.
Devil May Cry
And
5 is the
Devil
best
May,
one.
And Devil May Cry 5 is a 9.5 out of 10. That's great.
Uh-huh. Are you saying that
DMC3 is a 10 out of 10.
I
Sorry.
hate you gotta get out of my house.
Look, play the Switch version. You'll understand.
No, Sarah, she's right. The Switch version of DMC3 is apparently so much better than the PS2 version.
Oh, yeah.
The Switch version came out 20 years later. It doesn't count.
I agree.
It has
I
style
think
switching
it's
in
fair
it.
criteria. I think it's fair criteria.
But you can style switch. I'm just saying.
Well, the DMC3 was not made with style switching in mind.
But it is
Well,
now
it
the
should have
best
been.
game. It is now the best game.
Well, that's not
By
true.
far.
That's
Here's the
Anyway.
thing. You can say DMC3 Switch is a 10 out of 10.
sure.
I'll give you that.
Sure, I'll give you that. But OG DMC3 being better than like DMC5, no, not at all.
I mean, I still stand by that one, but I don't know.
Get out of my house.
We can agree to disagree on that one.
We're gonna have to fight.
Anyway.
Don't worry, when we get off this call,
What's that Proto Men Act 1 song called? Trouble in the House of Light?
The rest of the house of light.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
This is it. This is how I get kicked out of the house.
That's right. I'm just gonna send her back to California.
No, please don't. I love Peanut. Cash loves me. You don't want Cash to be depressed. He's an old man. You can't do that to him.
Panel 1. Panel 1 is just Oats going, DMC3 is a better game than DMC5, and Panel 2 is Oats with a little bindle with a sack on the end or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
His thumb sticking out like I need a ride to California.
So,
There's just a can of beans in there.
So Trials of Mana is a fantastic video game, and it still does, like... I stand by this, even though I also am, like, I'm already in hot water as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a better action RPG than any other that I've played by, like in the JRPG genres, and that
Sure.
does include any of the Tales of games.
Sure.
By, like, a long shot. It does a lot of, things right that just kind of hits for me. And more importantly, it does the extremely interesting thing of, like... So, like, if you play... You have to choose three of the 6 characters, and the first person you pick denotes the prologue of the game, and the second character denotes the Act 2 final boss of the game, and the third and first player combined are what denotes how the game ends.
Okay.
So there are... So, like, every time you play, if you do it, even if you do it with the same characters, if you do it in a different order, you get a different playthrough.
That's fun.
So it has an extremely interesting replayability value, and I've only done it once, and I've always just been like, I deserve to do it better, so I picked up the fancy PS4 version. It's like a Genshin Impact Lite, so it plays decently. But more importantly, it still has all of the other good bits to it, so I'm enjoying myself. Music's great.
Sure.
Visuals are gorgeous. And then, finally, the last thing that I have been doing is I've played like 25 hours of Chrono Cross.
Yeah!
Chrono Cross is a hotly contested sequel to Chrono Trigger. For better, for worse, and for better.
It is.
It is a video game of all time. That game is made out of coarse sandpaper, and it is constantly rubbing up against you, and yet you go, ooh, but I was really itching right there. So that feels pretty good. I can't actually complain, honestly.
I need to get back to it because I probably should pick up like the HD port for PC and play that. But I was playing it on technically PS3, but I could play PS1 disc. So I was playing that, and I'll never forget. And I was talking to Sarah, I was like, I'm having a really hard time with this boss. And she's like, well, just run away from it and grind. And I was like,
you can run away from bosses?
You can run away from bosses? What do you mean you can? What do you mean you can run away from a boss battle? What kind of fucking JRPG are you making me play?
I'm making you play the most vibes-oriented JRPG of all time. The vibes in Chrono Cross are immaculate. Everything else about it, not so much. But listen, it's still good.
I understand why you call it tropical punk.
I hold to the opinion expressed in much more articulate words by AVB, which that a good JRPG should be maddening and vibes based.
Correct.
I think most JRPGs should be poorly designed, with the caveat that the ideal form of a poorly designed video game is that you're confused why someone made it that way.
That's correct.
And that you never stop trying to figure out how it is you're supposed to play the game on purpose.
That's
so, for
correct.
instance, like, I think Berseria is a good JRPG. It hits all the cast and setting and everything else you'd want a good JRPG. But I think the bad parts of it are mostly boring bad instead of confusing bad. If Berseria was a more confusing bad JRPG, it would be like a 10 out of 10 all time for me.
Absolutely. I understand completely. Yeah. It is Chrono Cross is absolutely that. It is imperceptible. It's so weird.
Chrono Cross is written by master artists of the trade of writing a compelling story. It is designed by aliens that you vaguely explained what a JRPG is.
That's correct.
At some point, so I need to stress this for Saturn because this is extremely funny and it spoils nothing. Very early into the game, you were given a battle tutorial by a character who is like 30 or 40 levels higher than you, and just beats your ass while trying to explain the mechanics of the game and doesn't let you actually use the mechanics of the game.
That's correct.
That makes sense. I remember the Limbus Company tutorial was actually very similar.
He's just like, all right, so here's how it works. You attack somebody with one of 3 choices. There's the high accuracy, low power, the medium accuracy, medium power, and the low accuracy, high power. You do it like this, and then he kills you.
That's right.
And then he's like, oh, by the way, let me revive you so I can explain how elements work. Now you try. And then the elements don't work because you missed all 3 of your shots and are unable to use your spells because you need to use physical attacks in order to build up your magic meter. He explains to you how it works, but you're not able to see any of it in action. And it is designed that way on purpose.
That's great. I love that. That's ideal JRPG to shit to me. They should have put that in FF7 somehow.
Before you get to the first major town of Chrono Cross, there are 3 characters you can miss forever.
Stellar! Perfect!
This video game is ingratiating. It feels, again, like coarse sandpaper rubbing your skin raw up against the grain of your leg.
It's great.
I love it.
They just don't make them like they did in the PS1 era anymore.
They don't.
They really
make
don't.
Them like that. No, they really don't make them like this anymore. They literally don't make video games like this anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I love all of Chrono Cross's weirdness. I love like its fucked up story that doesn't make any sense, but I still like a lot. It's so unsettling and strange and wrong and doesn't really give a fuck about like your nostalgia for Chrono Trigger, which I think is fun because I'm a big fan of Kill Your Darlings. It doesn't care about any of that. It's weird and cruel and fucked up, and its systems don't work sometimes. And you have spell slots and you have to do physical attacks to use your magical attacks and all kinds of weird shit like that. And I love it. I think it's great. It's like one of my favorite PS1 JRPGs, like possibly ever.
Unfortunately, by me saying this, I'm also realizing that, oh yes, that is unfortunately correct. I do think the Temple of Doom is better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's correct. Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Alright.
I'm not prepared to have an opinion on that Indiana Jones take, so I'm going to let it slide for now.
Understandable. Ben?
Well, I did a lot.
Tell us.
I did a ton of stuff, actually. I watched Red vs. Blue Restoration.
I'm sorry.
I seem to recall you had a bad time.
The finale of Red vs. And I'm going to talk about spoilers because I know none of you care about
That's
it.
correct.
I extremely don't, sorry.
If you're listening to the show and you care, I apologize sincerely.
Yeah.
Ben, please continue.
This is my warning for those who haven't watched it. Before you start skipping ahead on the podcast for a couple minutes, I'll say this first, which is if you watched season 13, don't watch Restoration. If you watched up to season 17, don't watch Restoration. If you watched season 0, also don't watch Restoration, but go watch 17 or 13 again to get the taste of 0 out of your mouth.
I'm hearing a theme here, which is maybe that don't watch Restoration.
It was okay.
Is there a scenario in which anyone should watch Restoration?
If you really, really want to know how the last thing of Red versus Blue will ever exist will go.
Ooh, a historical perspective, always promising.
Yeah.
You know.
It was an hour and a half long. It should have been at least 2.5 hours. Donut has one line, and he doesn't actually make a physical appearance in the show.
Oh no.
Tucker barely has any lines in it. Carolina does not appear until like the last 15 minutes.
Well,
It was it was not good.
Yeah,
It was. So, if anyone, I don't know if anyone has watched Red vs. Blue or how much of it they've watched, but season 13 was a great place to stop.
Right.
It had a very impactful conclusion. The ending for it was really, really like it stuck with you. Okay.
Sure.
And then they made more of it, and I had mixed thoughts about. I really liked 15. Did not like 16. Really, really liked 17.
Okay.
And I thought the ending for season 17 was great. It ended with on a very high note for all these characters. They were all in a very good place. And even if it took a little, it was kind of weird to get there. It was like, okay, well, if this is going to be it, then they're going out strong.
Sure.
Restoration ends with several characters dead, and the inhabitants of Blood Gulch reverted to Simmons, Tucker, and Caboose.
Oh.
And that's it. Everyone else has either left or has died.
Oh.
It was a kind of ending where I watched it, and my last thought while the credits were playing were, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Like, what the hell?
They're not making any more of it.
Yeah, what the hell is it? It's like it would be like if Lost Light ended with only one of the endings.
With only the bad ending?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
It'd be like if that was the last bit of Lost Light and didn't have the other part of it to be like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like if it just ended there and you'd be like, well, what the fuck am I, what did you give me?
How am I supposed to process this? What am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And it was, they tried to have a lot of emotional moments that didn't hit because they only had an hour and a half to get through them.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was way, and I can't even blame Rooster Teeth itself shutting down on this because this was done before Rooster Teeth shut down.
Right.
Like they had majority of this written and in the bag before that happened. Right? So it's not like they suddenly got everything slashed. It was just like, this is what they wanted to put out. And I was like, no, thank you. I didn't.
Like, why? Why did you want to put this out? Yeah.
Like, did you think this was a satisfying ending? Like, did you think like this is like good for everyone?
Right.
I think that sometimes groups and companies like that will make a decision to put out content not because they actually think it's necessary at all, but because they're like, this make number go up.
This will make the number go up and people will purchase it, right? No.
Or subscriber count will go up, or this, that, or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's brand engagement.
They brought back Bernie Burns to write this, which is like one of the big, things about the thing is like we got Bernie back, like the original writer and creator of Red vs. Blue. And this is what he put out. I was just very, very bummed out afterward. I was like,
yeah,
I waited like 3, 4, 5 years for this thing. This is what you give me?
Yeah, you had like a reverse Traum experience.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I waited all this time for it, and it was bad instead of good.
I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe they'll stick the landing. Like, it'll be worth it if they stick the landing. And then they're like, oh, yeah, the group breaks up. And then they're just go on their separate ways. Hey, anyone who's writing a found family story, don't break them up at the end of the story. That's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the exact opposite of what a found family is.
Right.
That's an unfound family. That family was there, I unfound it.
I got rid of it, yeah.
I put it away.
Put that family away.
Get that family out of here.
I don't want to see that family no more.
So I washed the taste of Red vs. Blue Restoration out of my mouth because then like a few days later, the next episode of The Amazing Digital Circus came out, and I finally decided I'll see what that's all about.
That's the show with the clown girl, right?
Yeah.
Pomni, I think.
Yeah, that shit's good.
I got
really funny.
I got like a little bit into the first episode, and like this ain't for me, but like I like seeing pictures of like the Kobeni clown, so like I'm alright with it.
It is very good cartoon humor.
I like how it's animated, but it really rubs me the wrong way for reasons I don't really know how to put into words. It just kind of feels it feels crowdfunded. It has that kind of like crowdfunded taste where they got investors and all of a sudden it got I guess not cleaner, but more streamlined in a way that doesn't feel. I I feel like it doesn't have any of the tooth that its original pilot had, so just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, I don't know about that because episode 2 was like I feel like it was even better than the first one.
I have no context. My hook for this thing has always just been Enna. Whenever they're doing that, they're still making that game at some point. I don't know when the fuck that's supposed to come out. Who knows anymore?
Yeah, I don't really know it. I mean, like I've seen the Clown Girl, and that's kind of like my only context for the show.
Yeah, I thought it was really it scratches a good internet cartoon itch that I didn't know I had.
Sure.
It did take a while for me to actually break into it because I thought those designs were hideous, but then I saw them in motion and I heard like the dialogue and I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like
That's fair.
I would say it does appropriately remind me of playing like late 90s PC games in like my middle school's computer lab, where it's just like all the ugliest sons of bitches you ever see in this like horrible like kind of like lit, this horribly lit really CG style.
Mm-hmm.
But like it does I think it does feel like that to me. Like it is compellingly like that, aside from the fact that it's like, you know, in HD and like a good frame rate instead of being like 240p 16-bit colors and like 15 frames a second at most. You know?
That's correct.
I played a bunch of stuff. I'm continuing going through Unicorn Overlord. That game continues to get better and better as I play it and unlock more characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's like over 70 characters.
Yeah, you two are having the Chrono Cross experience.
Yes.
The masses cried out for Suikoden, which is I guess I had in Chronicles, but
I did meet the 8-foot lady.
Yeah.
Yay,
you have
big
to
lady.
you have to clear the Colosseum in order to actually recruit her. So I'm trying to go through that, and my friend Dave told me that you can just cheese it by like having a team of thieves that can't be touched.
Yeah, I heard on the Gigabutos, our esteemed rivals, Asterix, which is to say not even in their size.
They don't even know
category,
we
don't
exist.
worry. Yeah. But I have heard from them and the people playing it on there. The Colosseum is extremely cheesable, even insanely under leveled. Like I think like Aggro was saying something like, yeah, no, I was like 40 levels under the Colosseum when I finished it.
Yeah, because the way it works is that you kind of the battles are you have one Fire Emblem-esque round of combat, and if you deal more damage than them, you win.
Oh, okay.
And thief characters have like a perfect dodge and super high agility, which means they don't get touched in the first place.
Right.
So if you can hit someone and then just dodge all their attacks, you win.
Okay.
And then you move up to the next tier of the Coliseum.
That's gamer strats.
Yeah. Beyond that, the gameplay continues to be like super compelling and addictive. The story hasn't quite hit yet. It feels very generic. The main character is probably the most blank slate Fire Emblem lord you could conceive of. Mm-hmm. And the myriad of people you recruit don't really get to be characters because they're partially optional. But maybe it'll pick up as I continue on.
Okay.
I've heard. I will say, like, I don't think I haven't heard anyone say the story's bad, but I have heard other people describe it as being like the most unremarkable aspect of the game.
Oh yeah, it's not like bad, but it's just like you are the resistance taking your kingdom back from the evil empire.
Oh sure.
And you're going around being do-gooders and you know, we got to go help the lord of this castle to reclaim the territory, and I will join your cause now that you have saved me. And that's
it's a shining force. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's majority of it. There's not really a lot of like hooks or weird narrative. It is very disappointing going from 13 Sentinels with Melissa to this, because I'm like, well, where's the drip?
Where's the story story drip? Where's my insanity?
Where's the weird shit happening?
I wonder if the Odin Sphere remake has any drip. I never really got familiar with like if Odin Sphere has
Sphere's
like,
plot has drip. It's good. It's kind of a tragic love story.
Gotcha.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where I'm like looking through Vanillaware's catalog and being like, "Oh, 13 Sentinels was the odd one. 13 Sentinels was the G Gundam of the franchise." Where it's like, we're never revisiting these themes.
We're never doing this again. Okay.
I love that though, by the way, because also it's like G Gundam is like the most. Look, I love G Gundam. Let me be perfectly clear. I think G Gundam rules. G Gundam is the most like shonen of I think any Gundam series that exists. It's a series that's principally concerned with being like, you know, serious war drama but with a cool mech thing going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I mean,
and so it's very funny to compare that to 13 Sentinels, the one narrative game that Vanillaware ever made is Vanillaware's G Gundam. I think it's an extremely funny comparison. Because I get what you're saying. You're super right.
It's not thematically the comparison, but it's categorically the comparison.
It is like it's the anti-G Gundam.
Yeah.
It's like if the entirety of Gundam was G Gundam, and then you had one that was War in the Pocket or whatever.
Exactly.
Or like Turn A. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah. Are you going to do more like it? No? Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
I guess in another 5 years, I'll be able to replay 13 Sentinels again.
Me putting off all the other things I need to consume. Maybe after I finish rewatching Hunter x Hunter, I'll rewatch G Gundam.
Didn't you just do a rewatch of that like 2 years ago?
Not 2 years ago. It was longer ago than that.
That's saying that about G Gundam is like saying, didn't you eat Fritos last week? Like, yeah, it's not a special occasion.
G Gundam is 50 episodes. Much like Inuyasha, G Gundam is like 50 episodes long, and if you try and remember anything that happens in the plot, your brain falls out of the back of your head.
Oh, what happened here? Well, Domon fought a racial stereotype, and then he asked him about his brother. End of episode.
Yeah, that's basically the entire show right up until the very end.
Yeah, right up until like the like quote unquote season 2 half of it decides to go off the rails.
And the season 2 half is basically just that exact same formula again, but with like an attempt to have an A plot set dressing it at all.
Well, I mean, like by that point, we know who the brother is.
Yeah, so now he's asking other questions about the racial stereotype.
Yeah, because like at episode 23, they just give it up.
At some point in the episode, the American pilot will call someone a slur, and then Domon will refer to someone by their full name. End of episode. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I also started Hades 2.
Yippee!
I'm trying to approach it slowly so that I do not finish it before the game is actually out.
I was really looking forward to talking with you about Hades 2 on the podcast this week, and then on like 2 days ago now, Megas is like, by the way, after Mate tonight, it's Traum time, and I'm like, fuck!
Yeah. I was like, ooh, I'll play 100. I guess it's 1,000 times resist or 1,000 X resist,
something like that. Who knows?
I'm like, I'll play that on Monday night, and then I'll have something new to talk about on the Gorge. And then Traum came out, and I was like, never mind.
Well, at least we all have something to talk about.
That's
which
right.
Is Traum.
So, Hades 2 is good. Of course, it's good. Of course, it's fucking great.
Of course, it's good.
I have not made enough progress to really discern like what the notable differences are between it and Hades 1. Hades 2 feels a lot like the Mega Man X2 of Hades.
Okay.
Where it's like, it's mechanically the same, but like, we added more to it. We stapled more stuff on.
So the Mega Man 2 of Mega Man period. Like every installment in the franchise.
But I say Mega Man X2 because it's like, well, you can dash in this one. Like, you have more stuff you can do right off the gate in Hades 2.
I did see, because they posted recently about they did an update on Steam after it's gone on early access about how they're planning on like talking about some of their plans for like the first patch, and one of the things they did mention is like, yeah, we do want to make Melanie or Melanoi or however you pronounce her name feel different, more different from Zagreus. So we are taking suggestions / having considerations about just like completely reworking how her like sprint and dash like feel.
Yeah. Which would be good because she does feel right now. She does feel exactly like Zagreus. Mm-hmm. There are a few notable, a few things that I've noticed that are strikingly different. Which is one, and I don't know if this is just an early access thing or not, but boons are way less frequent compared to like stat items or like currencies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like I've only made it up to like the boss of the first dungeon, and I'll do that with like only 2 boons in my stock.
Right.
That's crazy.
And the boons that I've gotten don't feel quite as impactful, and I don't know if I just haven't gotten like the good ones yet.
I will say, Ben, I do know that part of the gimmick in Hades 1 is that the boons are not level locked, but they are like progression locked. So you aren't going to see some of the good ones until after like a good run.
Yeah, but like I'm not even seeing like, because like you would get Ares and it's like your weapon, your cast now shoots the blades, right?
Mm.
I'm not really seeing even stuff like that yet.
Okay.
Which I'm sure I'll get to it as they progress, but I thought that was notable. The other big thing that I've noticed is that Melanoi does not have a traditional cast. Like she doesn't throw out the energy ball like Zagreus does. She puts down an ensnarement field, which will slow enemies in like a ring around them, and like it'll kind of pull them to the center. But her triangle attack is a projectile. I think almost always for all the weapons that I found so far that it's a projectile.
Okay.
So instead of it being like a heavy attack like Zagreus had, it's a projectile. So you still have basic attack, projectile, and like AoE effect, but the buttons are kind of like rotated a little bit.
Okay.
Which can lead to some very interesting builds and setups that you're trying to plan around. She also has a magic meter. She can charge her attacks to that, and if you charge them long enough, they'll cost a magic meter to do a heavier attack or do a cooler effect.
Okay.
But that's really all I've noticed that's different so far. The art continues to be amazing. The voice acting continues to be amazing. It's Hades. It's more Hades. I love Hades.
It's fucking Hades. Yeah, exactly. It's Hades. We love it. Folks, we love Hades.
Too.
Supergiant basically continues to be independent off the back of like the writing and voice acting of that one guy who's like the CEO of the studio or whatever, and then also Gen Z's artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's like, no, we got these 2 things. You can't take these from us. There are 2 things.
I love the new characters. Hephaestus is great. All the new gods and stuff are just fantastic so far. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very excited to play more of that slowly, bit by
very
bit.
Slowly. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, exactly. Very, very slowly.
I do think. Who was it? Adonis does not have a portrait yet.
Yes.
Because people are like,
it's Narcissus.
Narcissus. Yeah, Narcissus doesn't have a portrait yet because they're like, and people are like, well, you should keep it like that because we can't perceive Narcissus's beauty.
Yeah. I think it would be really funny because there's a bit in Heaven Will Be Mine, and it's like unremarked upon on the game itself, but I think is very funny. There's a character in Heaven Will Be Mine who's like this guy who's like kind of like a charismatic figure who's kind of a manipulator or whatever, and is like ultimately kind of a traitor to his ideals or whatever. But part of their thing is like, we hate this character, right? Us, the writers, hate this character. He's a bad guy, but he is someone who other people are attracted to. But the problem is we don't want to give him a design in the off chance that anyone reading the game, like reading Heaven Will Be Mine, thinks he's sexy. So what they did is, compared to every other character who has like talk sprites and expressions, his face is pixel blurred out.
I see.
I love that.
Yeah, no, just great stuff all around with this game. I fucking love it. Hestia is one of my favorites so far because she's the opposite of Ice Grandma.
Right, she's nice, Grandma.
Yeah, she's super nice.
Oh,
she's
nice
great.
Grandma.
Hey.
She's cheek pinch Grandma, slips you $20 and says, "Don't tell your mom."
Right. Good for her.
I also played and beat and got the true ending of Animal Well.
Oh yeah, the donkey game.
Yeah. Animal Well is the most frustrating game I played for 6 hours without stopping.
Okay.
That sounds like me every time I play like Destiny 2 or something.
It is like this great atmospheric, moody, like the pixel art is breathtaking. It plays fantastic. The puzzles are like mentally challenging and like super rewarding. The items you get are like really creative and they're fun to use. It's got a ton of secrets, and I eventually gave up and just looked up where the secret collectibles are so that I could get the true ending.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not walking around this entire map trying to find all these things. This thing's fucking huge.
That's just how video games is in 2024. It's not. There's no shame in it.
There's oh, go ahead.
But I enjoyed it more as a result of that because the guides are. The game is still new, so the guide's like, it's here, and it's like, do the puzzle to get it, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to? Oh.
Okay, that's fun. It's kind of like a checklist. Then that's that's still good.
It's just like here it is. Then you do it to get it, and I was like, okay, well, cool. There's still some brain I have to use to get to it.
Right, you still have to make your neurons fire. That's good.
Yeah. The only problem I really have with it is that there's a couple of quality of life things that like they could have fine-tuned. Like I think the checkpoint placement is a little off because like dying doesn't reset your progress in like a puzzle or like collecting items, but it just sends you back to your last, like physically sends you back to the last save point you hit.
Right.
Which means there's not really much of a punishment besides making you trudge back through a couple screens to get back to where you were.
Oh yeah, that's kind of
so
a
it's like the room, they're a little bit spread out in a way that it's kind of more frustrating than like, you know, like just it feels like it's progression halting than like, you know, like an obstacle you're overcoming, right?
Sure, yeah, it's just slowing you down.
Yeah,
it's not something to necessarily overcome. Yeah,
because there's like checkpointing in games where it's like, oh well, this isn't breaking the momentum. It's I have to do it over, but it's not like killing my forward motivation. And there's places in Animal Well where you definitely feel that, where it's like, well, this feels like I'm hitting the brakes.
Right.
And there's stuff like the platforming could be a little more lenient, I feel. Especially in areas, because there's one area where you have to go back and forth constantly, where the gimmick is that there's 4 fish in the bottom of like a really tall, like well inside of a well type thing. And they're shooting bubbles up vertically, and you have to use the bubbles as platforms to get across. Well, if you have to go up, you have to hop from one column of bubbles to the other. If you fuck up and fall, you have to wait for the next layer of bubbles to reach higher up. You know what I mean? Like, because you hopped on them, they pop after you hop on them. So you have to wait for the next set to come up to get there. And it's the kind of thing where if you saw this in like another Metroidvania, you would unlock an ability or like you could do something to the environment to trivialize that, right?
Right.
Like, oh, once you get the double jump or the air dash or the grappling hook, you can just skip across this now.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that in Animal Well. It's just, you just have to keep, if you have to go back there, you have to do that every time.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
No,
That's a
that's
mistake.
not fun. That's no good. No.
But besides those like minor quality of life things, the game is still absolutely incredible. I don't quite get why people are saying that it's like mind blowing. Like it's one of the most like one of the greatest Metroidvanias of all time. Like you know, the new standard of the genre, because it's good. It's, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic game, but it is like a really good batch of onion rings,
Right.
because it's better than fries
Sure.
and it's rarer than fries,
right.
but it's still just onion rings, right?
Yeah, it's
Like-
not gourmet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
little bit higher up there, but it's still, you know.
I object to the idea that onion rings are categorically better than fries, but that's neither here nor there.
We can't start anymore.
But you know
meaningless
what I
arguments.
mean, Saturn. Like if you get onion rings, they're like $1.50 more.
Yeah, I get what you mean. They are a more ornate dish.
They are
Yes.
a luxury item.
Correct. Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't know. I don't like to be conspiratorial, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna accuse Donkey of paying people for positive reviews.
I'm not saying that
What-
that Donkey's paid anybody, but I will say that I don't think people are giving it like the reviews it maybe deserves because they don't want to set off another Gamergate.
I
wanna-
think maybe the spectacle of it being that cartoonish, childish idea of a Donkey production, which, like, I guess that is the success to it, is like, yeah, Donkey was to a certain extent right. It turns out that you can make good video games when you see a video game and go, that's cool, I'll give you money to make the video game good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
I
wonder why the industry doesn't do that more. However, I do think there's a part where it's like, I could definitely see it getting perhaps more attention, like even more so than like the better press than maybe it deserves. I could see it just getting more attention than it deserves by merit of just being like that. Hey, it's the first game from whatever that fucking stupid idea Donkey had was.
Yeah.
Right.
I also
My-
want to be clear to everyone listening to this and whatnot, is that Donkey did not make the game. He's a producer.
Yeah, no, he
gave
gave it
them
money.
Yeah.
My-
Donkey
He
did
was
not
very
make
upbeat.
this game. He did not put his ideas in the game. He just gave a studio money.
He was very upfront when, I think it's called Big Mode is his
Yeah.
publisher, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's very upfront when he announced that he was founding. He's like, my idea is I'm going to see video games that are cool and then I'll give them money to make the video games.
Right.
Yeah. So if he can continue doing that to projects like Animal Well, we'll all benefit from it. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Yeah, I would rather see a Donkey produced video game than any Donkey produced video, I'll tell you that for free.
That's
Hey.
Yeah. I will
Um,
say though, just like one last thing, is that I actually think it reviewed well for the same reason Stellar Blade reviewed well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see something around those lines. Like, we don't want to.
It's just easier to give it good reviews
Mhm.
and not start a whole. Like, I literally think the entire reason, because like everything I've seen of Stellar Blade is that it is mid at best.
Yeah.
And it's not even mid in an interesting way.
Right, yeah.
It's fine by all accounts. It's not like a 9 out of 10 like everybody's been fucking giving it. But I 100% think that Stellar Blade got good reviews to shut people up. And you know what? It worked.
Yes.
It worked extremely well. Nobody talks about Stellar Blade anymore.
Mhm. That's
So-
It
because
worked
no one played
extremely
it.
well, except for the psychopaths who are like, they made her outfit less sexy, kill them!
Sure, but even that, the problem is that even that couldn't last very long because like she
No.
has a trillion sexy outfits, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, and also
if-
because they interviewed the CEO about it. It's like, yeah, there are some things about how like her outfit got changed for day one release. He's like, yeah, we did that because we looked at some outfits and we went, this isn't cool enough, and we changed them to look better.
Yeah.
better, not to be less sexy. Yeah. But yeah, no, I do actually think, because like even like the mild controversies that happened when that game came out were basically dwarfed instantly by the fact that the game reviewed well, so you can't say
Yeah.
there's a conspiracy against it. So you don't have any like fucking like there's nothing to like really rage engage over. Right?
Exactly.
For me, I'm mostly just happy that we're finally getting one of these. And like, there's been others, but like, it's an early notable example in the Sony-focused push of we need more AAA game development outside of Japan that is specifically from China or Korea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, finally getting another like big AAA like South Korean video game where it's like, it's good. It's not like a scam. It's not like it's not a thing they made videos of. Like, it's Lies of P in this, really. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, it's a big South Korean AAA game that isn't like an MMO like Black Desert or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just like a good single player experience that's going to be like part of the beginning of there being like a major South Korean like AAA game dev space in a way that like Japan has one. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think there's a certain degree which people are like, hey, this game looks really fake every time they announced it or showed a trailer of it. It's cool that it's real.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
but yeah,
else, Ben?
like, there's real quick final thoughts on Animal Well, which is that, Sarah's right. I don't think it's a groundbreaking, genre definer. I don't think it's going to influence Metroidvanias going forward. There's a difference between the 9 out of 10 that I gave Animal Well and the 10 out of 10 I gave like Infinite Wealth, right? Where it's like
a 1 out of 10 difference. Clearly, that's all there is to it.
Like, I give this a 9 out of 10 because I feel like it did almost everything it wanted to do correctly.
Right.
Right? There's a few things where I think they could have fixed up to do it better, but it did everything that it was set out to do, which is why it gets a 9 out of 10.
Sure.
Whereas like a higher ranked game like Infinite Wealth or Rebirth, where it's just like, oh shit, you are expanding outward infinitely in every direction in this genre to make something that's like absolutely incredible. Yeah, this is a different kind of 9 out of 10.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. They are leagues apart.
Yeah.
Sure. Understandable.
But still, I would recommend anyone check it out. It's like I had like 10 hours to get the true ending, and it was worth it. I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Good.
I also did put like an hour or so into 1000X Resist.
Oh, good. I haven't got the chance to touch that yet.
This game is... So you know the parts in like Nier Replicant and Nier Automata where it just turns into a storybook? And like it's just text on screen?
Yeah.
That's the tone this game has.
Yay!
Yay!
If you were to stab Nier Automata with the Yamato, this game and Stellar Blade would fall out.
Okay. Because I'm way more interested in this. I'm way more interested in V than Urizen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you are interested in a weird esoteric game about android girls, then
We love stories about android girls, folks.
1000X Resist so far is that.
Excellent.
Yippee!
Wahoo!
I don't know if there's combat in this game.
I
don't know for certain, but I've heard this described as a narrative game. I think this is principally a narrative game.
I think the most notable thing about this game so far is the voice acting is very unique. I have not heard this many characters sound like this. Like the direction they've been given is very interesting.
Okay.
I don't know how to necessarily describe it, but it's amateurish in a professional way. Like, I feel like I should be hearing a fan run in the background while someone's talking, but I don't.
Right.
It sounds like the devs got, like, their younger sister to play a character, but in a good way.
Right.
Like, she's doing the line reads and emoting, and the audio quality's good. It's just obvious that it's someone who doesn't do this all the time.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, but they don't sound like it's their job.
Okay.
I like that.
You know-
I'm
I
okay
like
with that.
I
I'm
like
okay
a
with
game. I like a game with like. Here's the thing. I like Silent Hill 2's voice acting.
that. Oh, me too.
It's-
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just weird because it's a lot of people who did professionally recorded and professionally performed voice acting who were not doing a whole lot of voice acting before that.
And it's not
Right.
even that their voice acting is like bad or weird. It's just that their voices are not ones that people would normally cast.
I
Like
like
just
that.
the way they sound. It's very interesting. I've never heard anyone sound quite like it. It's very compelling.
Okay. Well, I
so-
definitely am going to check that one out.
Yeah.
once
Oh no,
I
I
get a
would.
second,
So
yeah.
far, it's doing a lot of stuff that's like hooking me like instantly. Where I'm just like,
Okay, cool.
oh fuck, this is going places already.
Yeah, my hope is by next time we record, I will have played and finished this.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
my hope.
I don't know how long it is.
I have a friend who I can see on Steam has an achievement for completing the game, and their recorded playtime is 8.1 hours.
Good God, really? Okay, well, shit.
I also have a friend in here who has a recorded playtime of 14.2 hours, but I don't know how.
Okay,
I don't know like if they did a second playthrough or something.
so
Sure.
You know what I mean?
so like 8 to 12 hours. Okay, damn. Okay, well, sure. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm done. That's everything I've done.
Okay. On to the.
I know.
Oh
I
fuck,
know.
the Pod Lords. Wait, that's the wrong podcast.
I know we were delaying the inevitable, but let's get through some of these articles.
I don't want to talk about it. Do we have to talk about the news?
We do
Yeah, we
have
do.
to because other competing podcasts that we definitely compete with put out episodes with regards to this week's various and sundry news articles that are
competing?
like 5-hour long episodes.
Well, we're not going to do that because I don't
Yeah.
like talking about it, but
No.
just because, I mean, everything that's been said about it has been said about it, but boy.
Yes, but not by us. So
Yeah, and our opinions are more valid than everybody else's.
That's right.
let's get through
Yeah.
some of these other ones first, though. Todd Howard explains why Bethesda plans to keep Fallout set in the U.S.
Well, yeah, that just makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
You
a
need
reasonable
same
one.
fit.
it's
Where
an
it's
America
like,
game.
yeah, it's an America game, and if you go to the places that aren't America, and here's the secret thing, it's the thing that like Rich Evans always says about like Star Wars, right? Where it's like it's secretly a very small universe.
Yeah.
Because it's like the things that are identifiably Star Wars are like all the World War II shit from the original trilogy. You really
Right.
can't step that far away from it without it being no longer identifiably Star Wars.
Mhm.
In the same way, if you did like a European or Asian like Fallout game that was like true to the spirit of the setting but was not in America, you would find immediately that you're basically writing like 95% shit that has absolutely no relation to the rest of Fallout.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like thematically, I mean, and even Todd. I mean, you know, Todd, God love him, he did like kind of hit it on the head, like in terms of like what Fallout is, which is about like American naivete, like in the face of being, you know, on the cusp of total global collapse and living under a fascist government. And yeah, like that's what Fallout is about, and like it's about the fallout of all of that shit.
Yeah.
The name, it's called that for a reason. It's not just because there's nuclear fallout. It's because like
It is metaphors.
it is metaphors.
Yes.
Yeah, there are metaphors in it's a metaphor, guys.
It is metaphors.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, it's about nukes. No, it's about
It's-
like choice and consequence and the fallout of
It is.
decisions. Imagine that.
It is about America.
It's about America and all the good and the bad, mostly the bad that comes with it.
Yeah.
You know,
There's something in me that's always like, I do want Fallout games set in America that have like more ways to like show like the European or like Chinese or this, that, or the other like
Yeah.
perspective. Like, hey, imagine if you had like a fucking game set in the like somewhere in Anchorage where there's just like an entire like settlement or whatever that's like, no, we're all like a part of a Chinese diaspora who is still here from like the failed invasion, right?
right? Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I want stuff like that, but
Sure, like,
also I don't
would
want to
like-
actually go there.
No, I don't actually want to go. I would not mind, say, a Fallout game set in occupied Canada Where it's
Yeah.
like halfway in New York and halfway in Canada, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. There's a lot of things. Or again, in the same way, a Fallout game set on the Mexican border. Like, you can do fun stuff with that.
Yeah,
too,
Arizona,
right?
or
Like-
You just ask
New
Rockstar if you can have the Red Dead Redemption 1 map and use
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Can we just use that map, please? You have a whole unused map inside of Red Dead Redemption 2. Can we just use that?
Fallout
New Vegas,
Texas, make
Tucson.
it happen.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many options.
The real meat of this article was that Todd hinted at 2 unannounced Fallout projects. One of which I'm assuming is the Fallout 3 remake that apparently is happening.
I do believe that is like 100% going to happen at some point.
Because that got disclosed during the Activision merger. Yeah.
The other is that Fallout 5, which Todd has said he has a quote 1-pager for the project.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My thinking, here's what I think. I've had more time to think about it, and we've discussed the possibility of and Microsoft has apparently discussed the possibility, it's been said, of handing it off to another studio. They're not going to take Fallout out of Bethesda, but I think that Fallout is going forward, they're going to eventually stop supporting 76, and Bethesda Austin is going to be the company that makes Fallout games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by
Yeah.
that. I mean, they're really good at it.
Yeah, honestly, I have problems with Fallout 76 as a live service game because it's a really bad live service game. But as far as a Fallout game goes, it makes really correct decisions about how to go back to the RPG-ness, but also still modernize it. And then that Starfield ended up ignoring completely to its detriment.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you had Bethesda Austin make Starfield, that game would have been better. I'm sorry. It's true.
No, you're not wrong.
It would have been way less ambitious and had way better gameplay, and we all would have thought it was the sickest shit in the world.
That's
Because we're
correct.
stupid.
Because 76 still has, I think, the best map of any Fallout game.
Easily.
Hands down.
by a
easily has
mile.
the most interesting map of, any Fallout game ever made. I think you should let Austin... now that they've kind of learned a lot of lessons from 76 that obviously the main Bethesda studio did not learn, I think you should just let them make Fallout 5. I think they would do a great job at it, honestly.
Yeah, 'cause,
I think it would be a good game.
They got their post-TV show 76 bump.
Uh-huh.
You need to let them take that momentum into making a full Fallout game.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think I don't think they're doing this. I think they're insane for not shifting priorities away from Elder Scrolls 6.
No, they cannot. We've already had this conversation. They cannot shift priorities away from Elder Scrolls 6. It's literally never going to happen. No matter how much Fallout 4 has sold and how well the Fallout show has given it a boost, the lifetime sales of Fallout 4, actually of most of the entire Fallout franchise, are eclipsed by just the sales of Skyrim.
Yeah, and also they announced Elder Scrolls 6 6 years ago or now. It would be insane for them to go, yeah, so you know how we announced Elder Scrolls 6 and then we announced Starfield after it and then Starfield actually came out? We're announcing a new Fallout game and that's going to also come out before Elder Scrolls 6, but we promise you guys we're definitely working on
Elder Scrolls 6.
It's we can't have... Microsoft is not going to allow the Skull and Bones thing to happen.
God, no.
The investors are going to kill Bethesda before that happens.
But you are going to get Elder Scrolls 6 if it means you have to take Todd Howard out front and sacrifice him to some pagan god. Right?
Now, and this is what I think is that Phil Spencer would have probably let that happen to a certain extent.
Sure.
The ball is no longer in his court.
He
is the head of Xbox in name only at this point. I think Microsoft bigwigs are coming in now being like, no, okay, we're going to start making all these companies you spent all this money on actually make some of it back, you fucking piece of work.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. We have a double whammy, a shot and a chaser. Our first of the 2 shot and chasers on this news docket. Shot. Helldivers 2 has been pulled from sale in 177 countries as its PSN linking requirement rolls out. Chaser, democracy wins. Sony overturns Helldivers 2 PSN requirement after immense backlash.
Yeah.
However, what they did not overturn is that it's still not for sale in any of the 177 countries they delisted it from. And that is apparently not on Valve's end, by the way. Valve confirmed that is not on their end. That is on Sony's.
Yep.
Sony could reinstate that at any time they want. I think the problem is that Sony at a certain point realized they don't do business in those countries, and that they're maybe on the hook for things if they sell them in those countries that they don't want to be on the hook for.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Sony, I mean, like, again, what's the one tweet that's been going around? Sony should be losing, but their major competition is the company that can't stop slamming their dick in a car door.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
this is
10-year all-time champ.
10-year all-time champion Microsoft. Yeah.
Remember the bit in More Than Meets the Eye where Ratchet is talking to Rodimus about how, like, at first, like, the whole thing about hiding Overlord in the bottom of the ship was bad, but in comparison to recent events, like Megatron becoming our new captain doesn't quite seem as bad.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's what's happening between Sony and Microsoft right now.
Yeah, no, it's literally just trading off bad news stories. Yeah.
The PS5 should by all rights be floundering the exact way the Xbox One did, but it's not, because there's no longer an Xbox.
Yeah.
Right. There's just no competition, and even with no competition, like, game sales on Sony consoles suck ass. They're just bad. They're just bad. We probably have that in the news somewhere. Vis-a-vis Square Enix. But
Yeah.
they're just bad.
We have that article here. So the sales are bad, but they're sales.
But their sales,
Which Microsoft does not have.
which Microsoft doesn't have, but, like, I mean, it's just two companies that have hit rock bottom and then pulled out shovels, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're both trying to get to the center of the earth, while Nintendo's just, like, Nintendo wins by doing nothing, like usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, Nintendo winning by doing nothing, like, aside from, like, all the success they had from, like, the COVID bumps or whatever, is that, like, it was a smart bet. And this I've been thinking about recently. It was a very smart bet for Nintendo to continue lowballing the hardware.
Yeah.
Not because Nintendo hardware is good. It's not. It's very bad.
It's bad.
The fact that we're not getting a Switch 2 until, like, this time next year is insane to me. That hardware should have been replaced ages ago.
It's a
However,
cell phone.
the thing is, this has made the Switch strong against the complete financial collapse of all people who buy video games.
That's correct.
Because a Switch doesn't cost $550.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Like
there's only 2 games on the Switch that are $70. One of them is Tears of the Kingdom, which is worth it, and one of them is Mortal Kombat 1, which is a crime.
Which is a crime, and nobody bought it on the Switch anyways. Like it's so insane. I don't know. It's so insane to me. Like, this whole, Nintendo really has the right idea, because people who buy video games don't have any fucking money anymore. Nobody has any fucking money, right? So, like, put your video games on a system that actually sold well and now is, like, the best-selling console of all time, I think, or is on its way.
It's getting there.
It's getting close. Like, we're
It's literally about to hit
and
PS2 numbers. I never thought anything would ever hit PS2 numbers again.
It is going to at least eclipse the DS by the time the Switch 2 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But it will still be selling units after the Switch 2 comes out.
And you know what else?
Absolutely, because it'll go on sale.
You know what else is really good about Nintendo games?
What's that?
Uh-huh.
Is they don't cost $300 million to make.
Yeah.
Which means they don't need to sell 600 million units.
No.
Yeah, you can just sell 1 million units and that's a fucking hit, right? It's like, oh, that's actually, like,
That's
a standout
way
hit.
easier.
That's way easier, as it turns out.
And I do think there is, like, an unqualifiable thing, an advantage that Nintendo has that I think is really just on the back of, like, the strength of its IP and the fact that they put their whole dick and or pussy into, like, every single video game that they make first party, which is that no other company around, and, like, I know it's a good game, and I don't mean to say that, no other company in existence could sell the most recent Super Mario Bros. Game for $60. Impossible.
No.
Yeah.
No other
absolutely
company could
not.
sell Metroid Dread for $60.
No,
Yeah.
those are $40 video games.
Optimistically.
Yeah.
And it's like, but Nintendo has the ability to sell those games for $60, and everyone just goes, yeah, all right, and they do it.
Sure.
And then never put them on sale.
Yeah, but I think part of this is also because, like, well, the console was only $250,
Yeah.
so who cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
like,
Who gives a fuck? I can buy as many video games for it as I want.
in comparison, it's like, oh, well, yeah, okay. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of how, like, when Mario Run, like that mobile game was still in production, they were like, this mobile game costs $10. And you're like, why the fuck are you charging $10 for a mobile game? Every edition we make is free. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes a lot of sense now, actually.
Could you imagine if Fate Grand Orders just like pay us $50? There's no gotcha. You just have all the toys that you want, but you pay us $50 and you get. They would go bankrupt. However,
They would go bankrupt, but I would love it personally.
I know the trick of gotchas is that you have like a 1% of player base who spend like thousands of dollars on the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Turbo whales are like literally what keep games like FGO alive. You know, I do wish they would do like a $10 a month like thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
well, here's the
Battle
thing.
Pass.
Well,
Like a
here-
battle
here's-
pass. I pay it. I'm an idiot.
Sarah, no, don't you fucking say the word battle pass and
No.
FGO in the same sentence.
No, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Other gotchas already do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
And
They
it's-
all have one.
And it's tragically the thing with FGO where it's like, FGO smart. I will spend money on quartz because they don't ask me for money for fucking anything else.
Literally
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
I drop like Genshin because like yeah Genshin, like you can spend money on pulls. The odds are really bad, and like yeah, you get a guaranteed 5-star after 90 pulls, but also like the actual pull rate is only like 1 in 300, so you basically have to pull 90 every time if you want the SSR. It's not great, but the thing is like they have a battle pass and they have oh hey, you know, you buy this $5 thing and every day you log in you'll get our Saint Quartz, and it's like such a good deal comparatively. You just have to log in all 30 days that you have a thing. And it's like they have all this shit to nickel and dime you, and it's like that's one of those things where it's like you spend enough time playing Genshin and you just go, no, my smell test has been foiled, it's spoiled. I don't want to touch the game anymore. But FGO is like, hey, do you want Archetype Earth or Zufu? And I'm like, I want Zufu, here's $100.
And then
And that's it.
Then you take those $100 and you roll, and then
I get five Archetype Earths and no Zufus.
and then but like I remember booting up because I wanted to play Ever Crisis right after we finished Rebirth. I was like,
Oh,
I'm gonna get
God,
more Final
yeah.
Fantasy in my system.
Sure.
And I got through the tutorial of Ever Crisis, and then I got greeted with the page where it's like 5 tabs of buy these different currencies to get this, and I'm like,
Oh, I know.
I don't want to do that.
I'm like, I'll kill you.
All
'Cause,
I'm
like-
saying is, all I'm saying is that if I could pay $10 a month as a subscription and get like 60 quartz every month, I would do that, right? Like,
There's a
that's
little
what I'm
game for you,
saying.
Sarah, called
Uh-huh.
Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite doesn't have sexy anime girls in it.
Well, I mean,
Excuse you, I just got a Himiko Toga skin in it very recently, I'll have you know.
yeah, Sarah, I don't know about that one. They keep adding them.
No. Peanut, don't hurgle.
I'll forcibly stream Fortnite for you after we're done recording.
Oh no.
No!
I'm not going to do that either.
So, yeah,
I
but
respect
yeah.
you more than that.
So Sony tried to mitigate the damage, but let's get to the big one.
Crack that cold one.
Microsoft closes Redfall developer Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at Bethesda.
Microsoft confirming what everybody knew already, which is that all they know how to do is to bleed money and close entire studios.
Yeah.
That's it.
Including, and then like some of these, it's like, you know, I'm not super familiar with Alpha Dog's game. I'm not
Sure.
super familiar with one of the other ones. Arcane Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makers of like Prey and I think Deathloop also, and Redfall. No, it's
Yeah.
Prey and Redfall, not Deathloop. Deathloop
Yeah.
was Arcane Leon, I think.
Yeah.
Arcane Leon, thankfully, still in existence. However, it doesn't change the fact that like makers of Prey, which is one of the best video games of 2017, a year that had Breath of the Wild and Nier Automata in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Redfall, which was not a game that anyone working on the game wanted to make, as far as I understand, was pushed largely by the financial leadership.
Yeah, the same financial leadership that fired them.
Yeah, both to my understanding is it was both Microsoft and also like the actual like
the guys in charge of money at Arcane. Yeah.
Yeah, but as we established, like Bungie, for example, those people have like absolutely no finger on the pulse with like their actual developers for the most part, unless you're like fucking Sven Vick, right? But it's like they set out to make a video game that they had never made before, did it bad, and then instead of being allowed the chance to make it good, Microsoft just killed them.
Yeah,
and as far as we know, there was commits being made to that game's GitHub like 5 hours before the announcement happened.
There is DLC and pre-order bonuses that people paid for that are no longer being made.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like here's the thing, and it's like Microsoft obviously for legal reasons is going to make right by these people. They're going to get refunds or this, that, or the other. But the problem is though, it's like this is why Microsoft is doomed to fail as like a gaming producer. Is like, yeah, you can shell out the money if you're Microsoft to pay back all the people whose money you took and didn't give them a product. Like that's fine. What you're never going to be able to pay back is all the people who watch your announcement trailers like, oh, fuck, that Redfall game looks cool. I'm going to pre-order the $100 version of Redfall. I love Arcane. I would love to play like a Vampire Borderlands. That seems cool. Those people have been betrayed. And you are never, ever, ever going to win their trust back, period. Yeah. Because you showed that it was more worth it to you to cut your losses and pretend you never said those things or made those promises than to actually commit to making the thing they were excited for good.
Yeah, like the thing is, like the insane part of all of this is that this is happening literally because of the ActiBliz deal, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And because what happened is that before this, even with the Bethesda deal, like before this, Xbox has always operated at a loss. Xbox has never made money ever. They came really close in the 360 era, and then the Red Ring of Death thing happened, and it was a huge clusterfuck and basically doomed them forever.
And it was never a big deal because Xbox is a big brand ad, you know?
Well, it's not only that, but like it was never a big deal because they're part of Microsoft, the biggest company on the planet, right? Like the company that makes literal trillions with a T of dollars every year. And it was like nobody noticed if Microsoft lost $1 million here, $1 million there every year. Who gives a fuck? We're Microsoft. We can just keep throwing money at it until it works. And then this big Activision acquisition happened, and suddenly all the money men were looking at Xbox like, hey, you just spent $79 billion on a company. And also all the legal fees to allow you to acquire the company, which I'm sure were astronomical, right?
And also the PR nightmare you've put us through of having this whole like antitrust shit and having to go through the fucking antitrust boards and whatever else in service of getting this other company that also has its own PR nightmares and is actively collapsing under its own weight.
Yeah. And then they spent $79 billion on it, and then suddenly, like the fucking Eye of Sauron, like the money men at Microsoft, not at Xbox, but at Microsoft, turned and looked at Xbox and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so, yeah, cuts had to happen. Cuts didn't have to happen for sane reasons, but cuts happened, right?
Right.
Because cuts don't happen for sane reasons. Like, that's the thing. A lot of people I saw on Twitter after all of this were like, oh, well, if you buy physical... No, you don't understand. You are living in a totally different reality than the people who made this decision. Like, BlackRock owns a stake, a significant stake in Microsoft. You spending $60 on a physical version of Hi-Fi Rush is nothing. They
don't look at that. They don't care. They've already written it off.
They've already written it off. Absolutely. It is less than a drop in the bucket. It's a molecule of air in the fucking sky, right? It's nothing. Like there's no voting with your wallet. There's no any normal consumer behavior. You can't rally. No, you can't fix it.
And I gotta say, I've heard that originally with the acquisition, what Microsoft originally wanted was just King, because it's the mobile gaming part of ABK, right? It's Candy Crush and all this other shit, right? And you don't have to hand it to him because he's a goblin and a ghoul and a devil. But whatever fucking wizardry Bobby Kotick pulled to go, no, you're going to buy the entire company for like $80 billion, and you're going to give me a $350 million golden parachute on the way out of this waking PR nightmare? Like, God almighty. You do have to go, you know what, Bobby Kotick? You're a real piece of shit, but you did get one over
You got one over on Microsoft.
The thing is, if you look at the circumstance that Bobby Kotick has put himself in, he made the smartest decision.
Oh, he made out like a bandit.
Objectively, whatever morality part of it doesn't factor in, he made the smartest call he could make.
Bobby Kotick was looking at being in trouble with the city for having renovated his bathroom without a permit, and he calls up the plumber and convinces him to buy his whole house.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many different angles to approach the whole story. It's all fucked up.
It's
all
a
of it
nightmare.
Sucks. It's a nightmare. There's no reason to go into making video games right now.
Yeah, no, don't do it. It's
like, there has never really been a good reason to go into making video games, because video games have always been a hellscape. But like, especially now, absolutely not.
I don't know if it's on the docket or not, but there was like a statement from like, I think it's like the Guild of Creative Directors or whatever, or something similar, where it's like, we're closing because we cannot in good conscience recommend anybody get into arbitration.
I saw that. That's just horrific. Because if you make a bomb like Arcane Austin did with Redfall, you get shut down. If you make a smash cult success that is like universally adored, like Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush, you get shut down.
Right.
Like, you can't win. There's no victory here.
There is no metric that protects you. Hi-Fi Rush, a game that was critically beloved and sold pretty well despite the fact it was a day one Game Pass game. And it's like, that's not enough to save you. And that one, I did hear an argument for that one that makes a lot of sense to me. There's two arguments. There's two things I heard about, like, why the specific studios were chosen. The first is that 5 studios were the 5 studios that were not currently working on anything new.
Right.
They were pitching things, but they weren't actively in the middle of a project. The other one is that Tango Gameworks, being a Japanese company, is bound by different labor laws that make it kind of difficult to do the Microsoft mandated thing of, no, it needs to be like 75% contractors by volume.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they weren't allowed to just fire the entire staff after the game came out.
Yeah, no. And it's like, that for Microsoft, that's a financial liability because they're insane.
Yeah.
Correct, exactly. They're run by literal demons from actual hell, yeah. It's all just so, like... And even, it's like, okay, well, they're not actively working on anything, but, like, yeah, because they just put things out, and they're in the pitching stage now. And, like, the previs stage, that whole beginner stage. It's literally, like, Microsoft they bought entire studios for the game they already had made. And now that the game is out and flopped because Game Pass is a fucking nightmare, they're just gonna shut them down. It's like, okay,
like,
what are you doing?
They're gonna like, Phil Spencer's gonna get done in like a Boeing whistleblower. There's no chance.
They're literally going to they're gonna ventilate that man outside of like a Denny's somewhere. They're
gonna find him on a fence post or something. Like, there's no hope for him. He's cooked.
Like this is not sustainable. Right? Like,
no.
This trajectory is not sustainable for literally anyone in the Xbox division of Microsoft.
It's not sustainable for the world.
No, it's not sustainable for anyone. It's not just Xbox. Like, all video games are doing this right now. It's just that Xbox is, like, way more... It's just way more visible because they shut down... I mean, like, even the Tango Gameworks thing especially is, by all accounts, even in like among like the fucking bloodless freaks that control the money of this industry, this might actually be a bridge too far. This might actually be like the thing that a lot of people are going like, what are you doing? Like, what? How are you running this thing?
They made your only unambiguous W in like 3 years. What are you doing?
It has gotten to a point where like some of the stuff I'm seeing on like newspapers and an Alabama Tribune.
Yeah.
Like you're getting like this is the beginnings of a video game market crash, and people and everyone's eyes are on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, you're just making it super obvious that this whole industry is cooked.
When I saw this article come out that day, my thought was, in 365 days there will be no more Xbox.
Yeah.
The clock starts right now, and they're gonna do their big event because they have that thing scheduled in like 2 weeks or something, right? Like their big Microsoft like Xbox like direct or whatever. They're gonna have nothing to show because they shut down all the companies that were working on stuff.
Yeah, like what do they even have? Like what do they even have to show? What is Microsoft? What have they got? They've got Call of Duty now. That's it. Congratulations, you bought Call of Duty, and it only cost you the complete collapse of your entire gaming division. Great.
Yeah, they're going to show off Overwatch crap because there's no BlizzCon.
Right.
So,
I feel like there is like a presaging here of some sort of broader economic collapse. It was just like, when the money men fired the web journalists, I didn't say anything because I wasn't a web journalist. And when the money men fired the game developers, I didn't say anything because I wasn't a game developer. Like, there's this weird, like, this can only happen because there's such a fucking insanely bloated, like, C-suite who make these, like, hundreds of millions of dollars fiscal decisions that are completely removed from being involved in any component of the thing that all the money came from.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
They're not like the gaming industry is going to collapse the same way web journalism is collapsing, and then something else is going to come next, and then something else is going to come after that. And I don't know what they are, but I'm afraid.
Yeah, like I don't know what this like what things look like a year from now.
Yeah, I don't know what this entire industry is going to look like. It's kind of intimidating in a way.
Because like Sony doesn't. I mean, it's literally just you're getting by off small releases at this point. Because Sony already said they don't have any first party shit for the rest of the year. Like they don't have anything. They're done. Stellar Blade was it.
Next year we're gonna have a Switch 2. That's all I got.
That's it.
PS5. This PS5 still gonna exist. There's not gonna be anything new or interesting for it.
Right. Like there's literally. There's nothing. It's really weird.
Sega just rising out of the ashes going, hey, we got a new console.
Sega just pushing Sonic just pushing the rubble off of himself like, what the hell? I survived that?
Here's the thing.
Dreamcast 2.
Everybody said the Dreamcast was the true death knell for Sega being able to ever do a console, because like if you drop something with that little support after that short amount of time, there's no way you can ever come back. However, it's been like 20 years. I think Sega can break into the console marketplace.
Honestly,
they can do it again.
Honestly, I would kind of cry a little if we were back to Nintendo and Sega.
It'd be so fucking funny.
I mean, if they were smart, they'd just do it. They'd just do another handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If they did the Game Gear 2.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is I feel like the thing that's going to happen not in the next year, but in the next 5 years, is we're going to have the Switch 2, we're going to have the Steam Deck 2, we're going to have some kind of... The next Xbox is not going to be a home console, it's going to be a handheld. And it's not going to be called the Xbox either, because that brand is ruined forever. It's going to be some other...
Back the
Saturn. I know what the next Xbox console, will be a handheld. It'll be called Microsoft Phone.
Yeah. And it'll have like it'll have
an app called the Xbox where you can play games that cost cost $1 every hour.
Ben, it's not speculative fiction if it's already what my Windows 11 is.
That's correct.
But yeah, like I feel like in the next 5 years we're gonna have like 3 or 4 competing handheld consoles, and then Sony's just the one company here. It's like, we have a console that you plug into your TV. It doesn't do anything else. There are no games on it. Please pay us $500.
Sony sitting up in the throne on the top floor of an otherwise completely abandoned office building, and then everyone on the ground outside of that with their handhelds.
It's going to be really funny when Remake Part 3 looks worse because it is, for some reason, in like 2026, coming out on PS4 and Xbox Series S.
we're just going back.
Switch 2. We're just going back. We're gonna put out a version of Rebirth that can run on the fucking PS4. And we're gonna put out a version of it that can run on the Switch 2. Oh god, let us recoup our losses, please.
If you have a Switch 2 that can play the entire FF7 remake trilogy, it's over. Like, everyone who works at Sony just needs to put in their 2 weeks and quit. If you have a Switch 2 that can play all 3 of the FF7 remake games, you're toast. There's nothing you can do about that.
I'm really looking forward to that day, to that glorious future. I don't know what I literally have no idea what the entire industry even looks like a year from now. Cause like, I mean, nothing's coming out. Nobody's got anything. Nobody's got anything.
We don't know about shit. We know in June-ish we're gonna get Summer of Games and also a Nintendo Direct. I don't like.
What do they have?
I don't know what they have. Like, this is...
They have nothing. Are they finally going to pull the emergency lever of a Bloodborne remake? Bloodborne 2?
No.
I don't know.
No, Sarah, it'll be Last of Us Part 1 Remake Remaster Pro Edition.
And you can't say things that are actually going to happen.
Yeah, that's just mean.
You're upsetting Peanut.
Yeah, we're not going to get a Bloodborne remake because you have to get Bluepoint to do it because FromSoft's not going to do it.
No.
I feel like Bluepoint has better things to do than remaking Bloodborne.
Bluepoint's owned by Sony now. What the fuck are they even working on?
You know, I guess that would make sense. They could work with Sony on that. Well, Sony is the one who owns Bloodborne. FromSoft doesn't own that. I don't know. Maybe you should get Bluepoint to do a fucking Bloodborne remake. What's
do a Bloodborne remake.
On?
That would actually sell your godforsaken console that nobody wants.
Because the only other game that you have that's a genuine PS5 exclusive is the Bluepoint remake of Demon's Souls.
It's the Demon's Souls. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Their most recent thing is they did supporting dev work on God of War Ragnarok, but like they're the supporting developer.
The Game Awards and the Summer Games are just going to be a bunch of execs on stage with their pockets outturned, just kind of milling about. Like, I got nothing.
They got nothing.
They can't. The real reason E3 was canceled this year was because the execs knew if they stood up on stage, somebody was going to assassinate them.
Throwing fucking bricks.
Like a U.S. president.
They had to switch out the now co-CEOs of PlayStation because if they didn't, E3 and Jim Ryan got on stage, someone was going to kill him with a rock.
Yeah.
And it was going to be one of those English devs he laid off at the beginning of the year, probably.
Jeff Keighley is gonna wheel out Phil Spencer at the Game Awards, and there's gonna be 6 inches of bulletproof glass separating the audience and the stage.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Phil Spencer.
The Popemobile.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have the episode title.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Phil Spencer and the Popemobile. Yeah, no, it's just like, Yoshi P could have done it. I'm just saying, I'd forgive Yoshi P all his crimes if he had done it at fucking FanFest.
Oh, yeah, kill Phil Spencer, I see.
Just domed Phil Spencer, yeah.
I thought you were saying, like, Yoshi P could have done it becoming the new head of PlayStation.
I mean, he also could have done that.
Probably.
He also could have just dealt with Phil Spencer for us.
I think he did.
I do think it's very funny, even still, how the grand story of him turning around FF14 was basically him coming in with a Project Management 101 book, how to schedule a project, and just going, we're going to do this by the book.
Just literally like fucking Sun Tzu talking to Chinese like warlords about like, you need to feed your troops.
Yoshi P just holding a book like, we're going to make a list of all the things we have to do, and we're going to make a sub list down to all the details of all the things we have to do, and you're going to give me a high ball, a low ball, and a most likely number for how many days of work every single one of these things is going to take.
Yoshi P just in a boardroom meeting with a bunch of people sitting down, and he just holds up a wall-mounted calendar and points at it, and everyone's like nodding and taking notes.
Like,
they go in order.
Yes.
This date is February 16th. This is the date I want you to have all the final code committed by. It's 9 months from now.
It's really stunning. I don't know. I'm really just sad about Tango.
I'm devastated about Tango.
I'm so sad about Hi-Fi Rush 2 just not existing. They were in the pitching process for it, and it's like Microsoft is like, we want small games that sell well. It's like,
we want award-winning indie games. We want small games that win awards. You had one and you killed them.
It literally just fucking is turning around and shooting someone and going, who shot Hannibal?
It's literally just, if we cut open this golden goose, we can get to the eggs faster.
No,
that's it.
It's even worse than that, Sarah. It's man, this goose was delicious. Now, if only we could find something that laid golden eggs.
It's amazing. I don't know. It's amazing to me. I'm just so sad. Every time I think about, like, when we were talking about how good Hi-Fi Rush is, and every single time I was like, oh yeah, they'll fix this in the sequel. Like, of course it's going to get a sequel. Everybody loves this game. It's been a huge hit.
There's no way it cost any money to make.
Yeah, no,
and everybody loved it.
If this doesn't radicalize, like, half of the gaming landscape, I don't know what will. I
got bad news for you, Oats. The gaming landscape is radicalized. The problem is that all the people who make decisions have money.
Yeah.
And they don't care because it doesn't affect them.
The problem is that the people who make these decisions get to make these decisions from behind a computer screen instead of doing it in a locked room, and if people don't like the decision they make, they get to beat them with hammers.
That's correct.
See, if we had that policy where if you're going to do this, you have to first give someone a baseball bat and then say, we're shutting your studio down.
Like, here's the thing. If you worked at, like, a Subway or, like, any law firm or just, like, a normal job that a person has, and you found a way to lose your employer $80 billion, they would feed you into a wood chipper screaming. Phil Spencer still has his job and has for the last 10 years.
And he will continue to keep his job for some reason.
Was it Matt Booty who said it? Who was on Twitter? Who was like, "Oh, I'm sure Phil's just really beaten up about it."
No, that's the fucking the former head of Blizzard. So real standout guy.
Yeah, but still, he's like, "Oh, this Phil did not make the decision lightly." It's like, yes, he fucking did.
Yes, he did. He made that decision and then literally went and slept in his big soft bed in his big nice house with all of his money, almost certainly.
He was like, "Oh, how many souls do I need to feed to the engine to keep my house? That many? Easy."
Didn't even think twice about it.
Someone pointed out, I believe, I forget the specific figure, with the $350 million golden parachute Bobby Kotick got, you could have paid the salaries of everyone who worked at both Arcane Austin and Tango for approximately 17 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Like, that's how cheap both of those studios were to run, and it's just, so you shut them down for essentially pennies. Like, $350 million is a lot of money to you and me. To a company like Microsoft, that's pennies. You shut them down for nothing, right?
what's going to happen in like 4 months from now is that Microsoft is going to put out like a little banner for some anniversary or another, and it's going to have a bunch of characters on it. It's going to have like fucking Master Chief and Blinks the Time Cat and all their other things, and Chai is going to be on that poster. And I'm going to burn something down.
It's just so, I don't know. It's just galling. It's to me, like, it's the thing I just can't get over. It's so, like, it's just demoralizing. Like, you can't even do anything about it.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can even do about it. You're fucked too.
I don't want to be on this roundup anymore.
I know.
Unfortunately, we have more news, asterisk. I don't actually know if we have more news.
It always comes back to the speech at the end of Fighting in the Age of Loneliness. Yeah. That should just be the fucking tagline for the Gorge. You know? If you think this is a problem in our idiotic blood sport, this will come for everything you love. Nothing you love is free from the influence of capital, and it will eventually spoil it. You're fucked too. Like, that's it. That's
it, yeah.
It's coming for everything.
Each and every one of us is fighting in the age of loneliness.
Literally, yes, actually.
The only thing we can hope for is that something better will come out of the rubble.
Better things are possible, but not for me. That's what I'm learning. Maybe for somebody else in 5 years, but by then, God knows I'll probably still be playing Final Fantasy XIV and forgetting about every other video game because that one's still running.
For now.
Look,
despite the fact that Square Enix seems not to invest any money in it whatsoever.
Saturn, Final Fantasy XI is still up and running and occasionally gets updates once a year.
Listen, the thing is, if the Switch 2 is what everybody hopes it is, it will run Final Fantasy XIV.
And then I'm fucked.
And then,
oh god!
And then there's going to be 800 million people playing it.
Well, Sarah, that's a good transition because the next article is Nintendo makes first Switch 2 announcement.
Oh yeah, because it's like the most. It was just like a random tweet. They're like
the most insane tweet in the world.
He saw the Microsoft dissolving like Thanos snapped it. And he saw Sony on fire, and he was like, we were gonna like talk about the Switch 2 in a couple months. We'll probably put it out next year.
The thing is,
I'm gonna go now. I need to get out of here.
I know that the president of Nintendo, like, he has done this before. Yeah. But it's an exceedingly rare occurrence. Like, this is something that he does, like, I think the last time something like this happened was like 3 years ago or something like that. But the thing is, this seems to me like a thing, like, yes, we see Sony and Microsoft both exploding, but Microsoft especially exploding. And this is, like, not Nintendo's style to say these kinds of things. Like, this is not the way the Switch was announced, for instance. This is him going, I need to say this so that my shareholders don't panic.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
This is literally the fact that there was almost certainly, because I think the quarter just ended semi-recently. So there was almost certainly a shareholder meeting where said shareholder meetings went something like, hey, it doesn't seem like we have a lot planned for the rest of 2024. What's up with that?
We don't have a lot planned, and also, PlayStation doesn't have anything planned, and also, Microsoft no longer exists.
Right, and so a shareholder was like, we're doing something, right? We are finding a way to capitalize on this, and so they literally had to put out a tweet that was like, yes, we are capitalizing on it. The reason we don't have anything is because we're making a new console, so every game that was ostensibly going to be on the Switch is now going to be on the Switch too.
Just for like the shadow-faced investors knocking on the door being like, do you have anything for us? And Furukawa's like, Switch 2. Yes.
And then they slink back into their little hole. Yeah, exactly.
You must say to us the magic words, or we will take 3 fingers. Look, fellas. We are making a successor to Switch. We're not going to talk about it at our June Direct, but it's coming out next year, so please be patient. They go, this pleases us.
We will spare your firstborn. I hope you enjoy Christmas.
But be aware, if you broach our compact, our retribution shall be most fierce.
And then he just turns around to the rest of the people in the building like, hey, we're good on Switch 2, right? And they're like, yeah, we're good. We'll put it out. Like
It's coming.
We're working on it. Like everything is going fine. Like we're not having any problems.
You guys still good for Q1, right? Maybe Q2? And they go, yeah, probably Q1.
Yeah, we can make that. That's like
it's
they're
not that hard.
flipping through calendars and like notepads. Like, yeah, no, we're good.
No, we're good.
You told us to take a PS4 Pro and make it littler. We can do that.
Yeah, we're good. They're like,
Going to pace, bud.
like, yeah, no, we met our goal. Yeah, everything is going fine over here. Oh, okay.
Like, the only thing that Nintendo's got that's like big this year is that 1,000-Year Door remake, right?
Right.
And that's not even that big, I don't think. I think that's just for
really not
freaks
that
who
big.
have nostalgia like me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, they're like,
And it's not like a huge release, but like it's a thing. It's like a thing that had some buzz on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And like that was like something people actually that like neurons fired over, but like they don't really have anything for the rest of the year either. Right?
Nintendo's just sitting around there like, oh man, I don't know. Are we good to just kind of coast until the Switch 2 comes out? And they open the blinds and like the Sony building is like crumbling into dust and like there are screams coming from the Microsoft building. They're like, yeah, we're good. No, we can
fine.
we can
Yeah, we're
we can
good.
coast. I think we're
We can
okay.
coast.
And then they just slowly close the blinds again.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
so, and I mean, yeah, I'm sure they have other stuff being made. It's just that like they're like, we're not gonna announce it. It's for Switch 2. That's what's happening
Yeah.
there. They've got stuff.
I'm glad that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the Switch 2 launch title, guys.
Do you have any information on Metroid Prime 4?
No, stop asking. Stop asking.
No, you were not allowed to ask about
Get
that
out.
one. Get out.
Listen to me.
Out of my office.
Listen to me. I have the thingamajig in my desk drawer, and I'm not afraid to use it.
I was literally going to say, no, you're going to have to ask Retro Studios about that, and they're in Texas, and they're like, oh, no, we're fine, we're fine.
We're good.
We're not going on their property.
I just
No,
love
Shareholder B, take your cowboy hat off. You are not going to Texas.
I just love the idea of like the Nintendo shareholder demons like knocking on Retro's door, and it just opens the 35 shotguns pointing at them like, get out!
It's just it's just fucking Krusty on the porch like, you just keep on floating.
I instantly think of Retro Studios being this, like, skyscraper deliberately shaped like the Alamo.
I'm just imagining that the reason Nintendo has such a relationship with Retro Studios anyway is literally just that one of the Nintendo shareholder demons is Rawhide Kobayashi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
That's cruel. Rawhide Kobayashi would never be a shareholder demon.
Well,
Well, no, after he found
He's a cattle
extreme
rustler.
financial success in his cattle rustling and barbecue sauce making business, he invested back in his home country.
That's a good point.
In order to make a connection between his old home and his new love of Texas.
well, the thing is,
Now, barbecue sauce is his hobby. He does that for fun. The love of the game.
I love him, game.
Now, the thing is-
see, it's the year 2024. He has to monetize that hobby.
the thing is, the shareholders can't set foot in Texas because there's too many churches and crosses all over.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have something fun.
Oh, please.
What are we to
another
do
stop
with
over
all
die?
this nastiness?
Wait, what?
So Kendrick Lamar put Drake in a coffin.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really glad that like we were like desperately hunting for. The thing is though, much like everything else, because everything continues to get bad, this shit's gotten dark Like
It did
like
get
the
dark
whole-
afterward. Like, people were attacked.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like the whole Kendrick Drake thing is like dark now. It's like, oh fuck, okay.
the Drake, much like Vincent Valentine, lives in a coffin and hangs out with 16-year-old girls.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy because like the literal beef just goes back and forth. Because like, you know, fucking Kendrick puts out a diss track, and then Drake responds with, "Yeah, you beat your wife," and then Kendrick comes back with, "Yeah, you're a literal pedophile," and it's like, bro, hey guys, kids, can we lighten down? Can we lighten up back there, please?
Also, apparently, at some point, UMG got fucking got Kendrick Lamar on the horn. Just like, hey man, this beef you have with Drake and the whole calling him a pedophile thing is costing us a lot of money. Could you knock it off?
It's amazing. It's been just like it's been the craziest. Like, I listened to Meet the Grams, and in the words of Todd in the Shadows, that shit was harrowing. It was like watching Hereditary. Like you like it really was. It's not like, cause like what was it? It was cause like what was that fucking song that Drake put out as like response? I don't remember. It wasn't good. But like people
You're
were
telling
like,
me a Drake song wasn't
What,
good?
really?
Shocker.
no,
What?
saying so, right? But like, you know, the Drake response comes out, and like people are doing like reactions to it on YouTube, and they're like, okay, it bops, right? Like it has a good beat. And then like you watch reactions to Meet the Grams on YouTube, and it's literally just people sitting in horrified silence for 6 minutes. It's a nightmare.
The
It's
difference
incredible.
between Twin Peaks Season 2 and Twin Peaks The Return.
That's correct. It owns. It's fun. It's been good. I like that beefs are back. We need to bring back more people beefing on the internet, but just like between rich people. Right?
As one of my friends said, really makes me doubt if I've ever actually hated anyone in my entire life.
Have I
Right,
really
no, like,
ever
this
been a
is-
hater. I used to call myself a hater, and now I'm like, maybe I'm not.
I mean, have you ever like deliberately called another person directly a pedophile to their face?
I mean, yeah, but like,
I think
not
Sam's a
with,
hater here.
not with like not like with the same or lasting or as much vitriol.
No,
Yeah.
because like it's not just that like it was Meet the Grams. It was also that like literally a day later, before Drake even responded to Meet the Grams, fucking Not Like Us also come out.
Kendrick was like, and another thing.
And he's like, he literally walked out of the door and then walked back in like, I'm not done with you yet, actually, motherfucker.
Drake starts articulating a response, and Kendrick is like, hold on. Hold on.
I'm not done.
I got more to say. I just had to take a sip of water real quick.
I'm still mad. Apparently there's more. Apparently
Oh, God.
there's 19 minutes of fucking Drake diss tracks, and I
This
just
man walked up to Drake's house and pounded a list of grievances on him like Martin Luther.
literally, it's incredible.
They should make a Rio like event in FGO, and it's just Martin Luther with the 95 Theses, and it's just everything that every FGO player has ever complained about.
Yeah.
I love that idea, actually. Yeah. Yeah. No. I think this whole beef has been extremely funny, even when it did get kind of dark.
Like Drake's up here like, well, the jerk store called and they're running out of you, and Kendrick is like, your family will suffer eternally for 1,000 generations.
Literally, at one point, it was just like kill yourself, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, calm down.
I have the gun
Yeah.
right here.
No.
Do it, you coward.
No, hold on, let him cook. Hold on.
There's a part in Meet the Grams where he directly addresses Drake's son, like, I'm sorry you have such a piece of shit dad. And it's like, bro, calm down.
No, here's
It's
the thing, though.
amazing.
Yes, you know the entire purpose of that verse is to grind Drake's gears, knowing his son is listening to that verse, going, "Yeah, my dad sucks."
Oh my God, it's
If
amazing. I love it.
If I ever got hit with something as half or even a quarter as powerful as that A minor line, I'd fucking pack it up and walk into the sea.
It's kind of like when the fucking H Bomber guy, James Somerton video came out.
Yeah.
If H Bomber guy ever said my name in the same tone as this video is about James Somerton, I would kill myself immediately.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't finish watching the video.
No.
I'd be like, how many hours left? All right, I'm done.
I'm done. I gotta go.
Looking at the runtime, like, that's enough time to go to the store, get a revolver and some ammunition, and come back home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm sorry.
You could go to the gun store and be like, H Bomber guy made a video about me, and they just hand you the gun right there
for free. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, we have a program for that.
We have a room you can go into.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's the same vibe as that. It's just when somebody says that much like heinous shit about you, you just need to go away for a while and be like, I'm good. Actually, I'm cool. No, thank you. So yeah. I do love the beef though. It is very funny. I want to hear the rest of Kendrick's fucking
put out beef. The rest of the tracks.
I want to hear the rest of those 19 minutes of diss tracks. Yeah.
Did you see
I want to see the update to the beef when someone, it won't be Kendrick and it won't be Drake in all likelihood. When someone gets murdered, I feel like it could happen.
That could happen.
Somebody
I think
releases yet another lost 2-pack track.
Yeah, like somebody did show up at Drake's house with a gun. I don't know what came of that, but that was in the news.
I think one of his like bodyguards or whoever got injured, but like that's like
I don't know
that's still fucked up.
Yeah, it's very crazy. Yeah, you know, that's all I got. It's crazy.
Got a couple more here. Next, speaking of to quote Akewood, Harvard University created a company that has no chance of making it in this world, hence GameStop.
Oh no.
GameStop will now buy graded Pokemon cards.
What?
Why?
They're trying to break into the trading card grading industry.
What?
I'm noticing a thing with GameStop, which is there's a little bit of a dilettantish sort of dipping their toes into every enthusiast collector market they can think of and not committing to any of them.
Yes.
No,
very much.
No, it's incredible. Especially because the collectibles market is still like a thing, but it's not nearly as much of a thing as it was in 2020 and 2021, right? Like it's still, you know, buying collectible shit, retro games, Pokemon cards, all of that stuff. It is still a lot of money, right? Like, because that shit just kind of set. Because again, everything is a fucking grift these days, and everything is a speculative market, right? Because we've run out of ways to make money, so we have to just monetize everything else. And so, like, yeah, that's still a thing, but it is. This is striking while the iron is cooling off, is what I'll say, right?
Like who's going into a GameStop and spending that kind of money on graded Pokemon cards?
So here's the funniest line from this article. Associates with knowledge of the program said that only cards graded by Professional Sports Authenticator (PSA) would be accepted. That those cards must be graded 8 or higher on that company's 10-point rating scale, and that no cards valued at more than $500 would be accepted in store, which makes a lot of sense.
That's incredible.
Because do you know what the one easy way to get your GameStop robbed is?
Just keep a shit ton of it. Keep a lot of cash.
A first edition Charizard, yeah.
Or just keep a lot of cash on hand to pay for that first edition Charizard, right? Like,
but I'm also just like, that's what I mean though, because like, yeah, no, it would make no sense. You would never keep those kinds of high value cards like just on shelves in a storefront.
No,
but like,
that's such an easy smash and grab target.
But like, if you're not keeping if you're not trafficking in high-value cards at all, when you're talking about professionally graded collector cards, like, what's your market?
Yeah, what are you...
Like, who is this
And
for?
who are you
the only
reselling
freaks,
this to?
the only freaks who care about professionally graded collectible cards are spending like 5 digits on a Black Lotus or something.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You're not you're not appealing to an audience that exists. You're trying
No.
to get the Venn diagram of kids who have binders full of Pokemon cards and 35-year-old men who have 10 Pokemon cards that each cost $10,000.
Right.
And you're trying
And
to get
like-
that thin little sliver of crossover.
And like, no one in the 35-year-old camp is going to go to GameStop to buy a
No.
card worth less than $500. And no child can afford to buy a $100 to $499 Pokemon card. B, no child who buys that card is then going to put it into their binder.
And they're not going to get it graded, right? Like, let's say
Yeah.
you do have, like, a fucking, binder with a Charizard card in it somewhere. Like, you're not going to get that graded. You're not going to send that off to some, like, official grading company, right? Like, if it was that GameStop was offering to pay a cheap, like a low amount of money for certain Pokemon cards that might be high value, and then they would resell those cards after having them graded, that almost makes sense, right? Because then it's like, okay, they're doing kind of what they already do with used games. They're buying a video game off of a 10-year-old for pennies and then flipping and selling that game for $60, right?
Yeah.
That almost makes sense because you're a dumb child, you want to sell your whole video game collection. You're a dumb kid, you want to sell your whole Pokemon card collection. Never mind, it might be worth something in 10 years. You don't know that at the moment. You don't have those kind of, like, you can't think that far in the future. Your brain isn't fully formed yet.
So, speaking of which, if you're listening to this episode of The Gorge and you want a small binder full of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, go into Discord, DM me. The first person who says, "Hey, I want your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, here's my mailing address," I will just send them shits to you for free.
This just in, GameStop is now getting deeper into the speculative market and selling Team Fortress 2 hats.
Oh my god. There was a part of me, there's like a little, like, nearish my house, like, I live, like, near an elementary school and also a middle school, and there's, like, a little tiny library right outside it, right? And I was really tempted to go over there and, like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in there. Some kid's gonna find them. Is gonna, like, they're 85% chance they're gonna be completely confused. Very whittlingly smaller, less percent chance they're gonna see a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and go, "Oh fuck yeah, free Yu-Gi-Oh cards." And then I went over to the little library, and, like, the entire inside of the little library has, like, just collapsed from the weight of all the shit that is inside it. And it was I was like, oh, okay.
I was gonna do a fun thing for someone.
I might have to check again and see if they fixed it at some point. Though also, I think they might have actually just taken the little library down because no one was fucking fixing it. And all those, I think there was an instance in which everything in it just got super water damaged because the thing was fucking collapsing. It was like, no, we're done.
Nah, we're done.
Man.
We're done. Man, all right.
Yeah.
Well.
Going to the little library by the middle school and just leaving House of Leaves in there.
What's this, a copy of myhouse.wad?
on a flash drive.
Love that.
Here's our next shot and chaser, and this is more of a really nice shot and then a chaser of mouthwash.
Okay.
Square Enix, quote, aggressively pursuing, unquote, new platform strategy after reports FF7 Rebirth underperformed on PlayStation. Chaser, Square Enix confirms US EU layoffs as part of restructuring.
Yeah, well, that's happening to everyone.
Again, pales in comparison to the crimes that Microsoft committed.
Oh yeah, I
But
mean,
still.
it still sucks. It's just from like again the usual cartoonish mismanaging.
Yeah.
And the people who are responsible for the mismanaging will never see any real consequences, and they will just make a bunch of money.
May they never see the light of
Ooh.
heaven.
That's right.
So for an update, by the way, because I went to go check because I had to be sure. It seems like the current estimated total of video games industry layoffs so far in 2024
Oh, it's so dire.
No.
is estimated currently to be around 9,500.
Yeah, we're almost at the 10K mark. It's really bad. Yeah. These layoffs mostly affect IT, publishing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not devs. Still sucks. I mean, it sucks for anybody to
It's-
lose their job because of cartoonish mismanagement, right?
Yeah, it's also affecting the indie games label specifically.
Okay.
I also have to clarify. So this is from this tracker I'm using is from Obsidian, not Obsidian the game developer, but from Obsidian.md, right? This tracker suggests so far we're in May, we're not even halfway through the year, estimated 9,500 layoffs plus approximately. This same tracker's estimated layoffs for all of 2023 was 10,500.
Great.
For the entire
for the whole
year.
year. Yeah,
We're
no, it's gonna
almost
keep
there
going.
and we're not even to June yet.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep going. Peanut, you really don't need to stab me with your foot, love.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. He needs to touch me. Huh.
I do think it's funny that Square Enix is like, yeah, we are trying to look for multi-platform, and it's like Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and it's like, well, one of those will not exist in a year, so it's really Nintendo
Right.
and PC.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you put your two biggest titles of the last 2 years on a system that nobody owns for $70. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not surprised. Nobody is surprised by this. Sorry, especially because like a lot of people are just waiting for the third part of Remake to come out before they buy all of them, right? They're gonna do the deranged like death march through the whole fucking series. That's what
I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna play all three of them on the Switch too.
I think when when all is said and done, Square Enix should just put out the remake trilogy, and it's every game that just leads into each other.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Here, like, I think what's very likely to happen at this point is like we're gonna get Remake Part 2 on Steam at some point, the way that Remake Part 1 is on Steam. And the gap in time between it and Remake Part 3's day one Steam release is going to be like 4 months.
Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, like I definitely think because they did mention that potentially Remake Part 2 on Steam or on PC by May, and May is halfway over and we haven't heard anything. So but I think it's gonna happen a lot sooner than we think because Square Enix really needs to recoup some of those losses. So summer of gaming, people. But yeah, no, I'm just like, I'm not surprised at all that Square Enix lost a bunch of money because they, again, totally mismanaged their properties. They were like, yeah. And the thing is that, yes, Sony paid them for exclusivity. Didn't pay them enough.
Nope. Wasn't worth it.
Not even remotely pay them enough to cover those losses. So,
and I think the problem is
you're not going to do that anymore.
It seemed like the deal they cut was probably based on their expected sales figures from how that shit went in the PS4.
Yeah, a system that has sold twice as much, and the game that came out when nobody could leave their home. Like,
no,
you know,
every studio out there constantly fails to consider COVID tax.
Well, here's the thing, and it's not just COVID tax either, because it's also like the PS5 is proportional in sales to the PS4, and like the PS5 maybe I guess has a COVID bump, but question mark.
No.
You know what the really important difference is between Remake and Rebirth? One of those games didn't cost $70.
Right.
That's another. Yeah, it's got like 3 major things against it. Like it's no wonder that it did not sell as well. Like
No, of course not.
you made
It's only on PS5, which a lot of your Japanese audience still doesn't really own. I think the
No.
adopt rate for the Western territory is still a lot higher for PS5. It's a $70 video game. It's the second game in a trilogy, and it's like, yeah, man, you should have expected this. I'm sorry.
You really should. And I mean, like, Square Enix has always had. I mean, the problem is that Square Enix has always had unreasonable expectations for game sales.
Yeah.
Compounded by the fact that the first one did extremely well. I'm sure they expected Part 2 to sell 30 million copies, even though I don't even think there are 30 million PS5s out there in the world.
I think they said FF16. FF16 sold like what, 3 million?
About 3.
And it's like, a lot of other games would be like, oh hell yeah. 3 million copies. That's good.
Right.
that's slam dunk.
However, whether or not it actually made money, I can't say. I'm sure Square Enix games are a lot cheaper to make than like fucking American Sony productions for this, that, or the other reason. But whatever amount of money they made, 3 million sales was just not enough for Final Fantasy 16. And it's like, I don't know, man. If you sell a game, if you can put out a game and it's selling 3 million full-priced copies is a market failure, I think you spent too much money on that video game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you spent too much money on that video game. Absolutely. Like, sorry.
You can't...
It's just bad.
It's impossible to bank on anything being a 10 million, 20 million copy success. Like, just impossible. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, if something sells 10 million or 20 million copies, you want to have spent an amount of money assuming it would only sell like 3 million. So that way when it makes 20 million, you're super pumped.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like, I feel like there's still a whole thing of AAA game development. It's like, no, we budget these games with the expectation they'll sell bare minimum 5 million copies. It's like, you can't do that. No one has money.
You can't do that. Nobody has any money right now. Are you kidding me? Like, even, like, you know, I was just joking, but like, the Japanese yen is really weak right now, so they're not gonna.
Awful.
It's awful. You get $6 for every 100 yen. So it's.
Oh, that's bad.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't know if I mentioned this.
The Yakuza 8 1 version is extremely wrong.
So it's usually about 85 yen to the dollar.
Right.
Yes.
It is
about.
currently 65. It is currently $1 to 65 yen.
It's really bad.
Oh no, excuse me. It's 65 cents makes 100 yen.
Yeah.
So it is extremely weak.
It is.
And it's just
oof.
And so, like, yeah, Japanese audiences aren't going to spend the equivalent of $70 on a video game, especially when, like we said, the sell-through rate for the PS5 in Japan is really bad. Like, it's really, really bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just not happening, folks. So
70 United States dollars right now is about 110, or no, excuse me, not 110, 11,000 Japanese yen.
Oof.
God almighty, that's so rough. Like,
I'm sorry, Japan. This
sucks. Conversion rate is great for me as someone who likes to buy figures. However, it's bad for literally anyone who lives in the country.
Correct.
I'm very excited to visit Japan in a few months.
That's right.
I'm very excited to finally blow that money on that Kotobukiya Saber Sulfa figure. However, I cannot in good conscience recommend being a person who lives in the Japanese economy at this time.
No, it's not fun. It's quite bad, actually. But I mean, shit's cheap over there right now, so I guess it works out. But still, like, fucking, they're not gonna spend $70 on a video game. They didn't even buy the fucking PS5. What are you doing?
They're not gonna spend $500 on a PS5. All the shit that comes out in Japan that Japanese players want to play still comes out on the PS4.
Right. Like fucking Tsukihime and basically everything that comes out on the Switch also comes out on the fucking PS4 and does numbers. Like, come on, guy.
This is a move that is like, well, you should have been making this move like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
you
what
should've done
were you
this a long
fucking
time
thinking?
ago.
Come on.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
you should have put it out on the PS. You should have put it out on PS4. Sorry, you should have put Remake out on the PS4.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Like, I get that and there's no way you could have known it was going to be a mistake.
No.
But also, it was a mistake.
I could have told you it was going to be a mistake. You should pay me, Square Enix, to tell you when your decisions are going to be a mistake.
Well, I think you can look at the way the PS4 game sold at the very beginning of COVID, and the way PS5 was when also came out around the beginning of COVID and was selling so much they couldn't fucking keep it in stock, right?
Right.
And you can look at that and go, it makes sense for us at this point in time to think it's a good idea to make part 2 only for PlayStation 5s. Because, clearly, the first one sold well, PlayStation 5s are selling well. By the time this comes out, people will have them and will want to buy this game. And you were wrong. You were just wrong.
Yeah. You rolled the dice and you blew it.
Yeah, you were just wrong. Sorry.
Now you gotta do what you should have been doing the whole time and put stuff on other platforms.
That's correct.
The Switch 2 is going to have PS4 Pro adjacent specs by all accounting from the various
The Switch!
and, multiple conference. And the thing is, this is Nintendo again banking on being right on the hardware side, which is Nintendo going, all people want are PS2 games that look like PS4 games.
Correct.
That's literally it. That's what everybody wants in life.
Speaking of Hi-Fi Rush, Switch 2 is gonna be like that fucking Mercy gift from Overwatch where she's just flying down to the kid to all these game devs.
Right.
All these studios is we just need to put our shit on the Switch 2 and we'll be saved.
It's going to be really funny when Hi-Fi Rush looks and runs better on Switch 2 than it does on Series.
I would like, it would be, God, I hope they can recover. I hope Tango can put themselves back together in some capacity.
Well, those people need jobs, and unlike in America, Japanese game devs can find work.
That's correct.
Just
I'm just thinking of that Pat tweet where he was like, yeah, the reason Nintendo succeeds is that they don't fire 70% of their staff when the game comes out.
That's right. It's amazing that the people who worked on Tears of the Kingdom, that game that sold really well, most of them also made Breath of the Wild and have been working on Zelda consistently for 20 years.
Wait, what do you mean that when you finish a game, you learn from the development of that game and you can put that into work on other games? What do you mean? No, you're done. Get out of here. You're fired.
Yeah, we have to fire all of them. No,
the problem,
American game development's a fucking nightmare.
Western game development in general is fucked because a lot of the companies that do this, and this is, I think, the root of it, is they run it like tech companies, where you're just concerned about making tech product, about doing coding and whatever that makes a thing that does the function it says it'll do, and all the other shit around it is not that important, and the actual process of making it is you're doing big projects, but you're never having to do a bunch of weirdo work to make an illusion stick, right?
Right.
And the problem is the Microsoft model sucks for everyone, but if you make software like that, not video games, but fucking Excel or whatever, you can make do. You can't do that with a video game, though. And it's part of why, the Japanese industry continues to remain strong, for the most part, because, despite the horrible economic situation, it's you can't finish a game and then lay off all your employees and close the company that's making money. They just don't let you do that.
Yeah, that's not allowed. It's illegal.
Yeah,
there are laws in place to stop you from doing that because it's an insane way to run an economy where that can happen.
Yeah, and then you see shit all of these layoffs are happening here in America, and then everybody at Capcom just got a raise.
Yeah, it's oh, you
it's
mean
incredible.
Japan is well, we didn't think we needed to make this illegal, but it's now illegal to feed your employees into the wheat thresher when the game is done.
That's right.
And meanwhile, the wheat thresher industry is booming in America, and devs are why aren't we making any money off our games now? As they just
yeah,
in
Japanese game devs just going Well, this wheat thresher law does make sense, but it feels kind of superfluous. I mean, we were never going to feed our creative staff into the wheat thresher. That would be completely ludicrous. And they look over at Microsoft and they're just like complaining about like how it's illegal for them to feed all their Tango Gameworks employees into the wheat thresher now, and they just have to fire them like normal.
Oh god. How many more news stories we got, Ben?
One more little baby article just to kind of make things a little bit easier on us.
Okay.
Yippee.
Castlevania is coming to Dead by Daylight later this year.
Extremely funny crossover. I love that Konami is just like, now we don't make video games, we just let other people make video games with our characters now. That's the funniest possible way for them to go, yeah.
Very funny that it is now canon that Alan Wake fought Dracula.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Everyone's fought Dracula.
You know what? I would never encourage a company to just be like a fucking IP mill. Konami, congrats for understanding that your leadership is ill-equipped to actually make video games.
Yeah.
And that it's better to just go like, you want our toys? We'll let you rent our toys.
You can borrow our toys, it's fine. You want to put them in your little cute roguelike, that's fine. Oh, you want to put them in your asymmetrical multiplayer game? Sounds good. Fantastic.
I think
You want to put Contra in your weird vampire survivor cookie clicker thing? Fine. Go crazy.
I think this one is especially hilarious because again, I say this every time it comes up. Dead by Daylight didn't need to pay Konami to do this. They could have just put Dracula in the game.
No, but they also want to put the Belmonts in the game. So, because like you gotta put a Dracula, like you gotta put a monster, but you also gotta put a survivor. And they're not gonna put, as cool as I think it would be, they're not gonna put Mina Harker in Dead by Daylight. They want to put Simon Belmont in Dead by Daylight, you know?
I don't know if they would because like, isn't that, I don't think there's any like, aesthetic wise, I don't think there's a guy like there's like.
Man, you can put anything in Dead by Daylight you want to. Fucking what are they called now? Behavior. They've had like a million different names. Behavior doesn't give a fuck though. They'll just do whatever.
No, they don't care. They're making money hand over fist. They're just happy to be here. Are you kidding me? They're gonna put Simon or Alucard or fucking whatever. They're gonna put somebody in there and they're gonna put a big old handsome Dracula in there. It'll be great.
They're called Behavior now because they used to be called A2M and everybody called them Ass to Mouth and they got sick of it.
They are also, along with Dracula, they're putting D&D characters into.
That's cute.
Which is
yeah,
fun.
may as well. I mean,
yeah.
Two great tastes that taste great together: peanut butter and chocolate. You know,
D&D and your DBD.
That's
like, look,
right.
They're never gonna make extra content for Baldur's Gate 3, but if you did like a goofy $5 DLC pack or whatever, where it just puts in like, hey, look, here's a recruitable hireling who's like Simon Belmont, and he's got a custom moveset and custom armor or whatever, and he just like goes yeah and whatever. Like, people would buy that.
People buy that.
I'd buy that. I'm stupid.
That's right. You know, that sounds fun. Sure, fuck it. Why not? So yeah, no, I think you know.
I don't think they're planning to actually put a survivor from Castlevania. I think it's just Dracula.
That's even funnier.
Look, if it's what's that artist's name who did Amano? Is it Amano who did Symphony of the Night? Or
no, Kojima.
Ayame Kojima. That's right.
Ayami Kojima. Yeah, not Ayako.
I believe it's that. But you just get the Ayame Kojima Dracula in there. Like, yeah, sure, fuck it. If I was someone who played Dead by Daylight, I'd pay $5 or $10 for that Dracula.
Miserable
like,
little
cool
pile of secrets, Leon S. Kennedy.
That's right. Calling Leon S. Kennedy a miserable pile of secrets while he gets his back blown out.
Yeah,
he makes those spectacular noises.
Those great sounds.
I would love to see Leon S. Kennedy making those noises with the Ayame Kojima Dracula.
Yeah, no.
In some sort of source filmmaker production, perhaps.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Don't give it time.
I'm sure those are all over Kelberu. It's fine.
Saturn, when that model hits, don't worry.
Oh, it's gonna be over. Yeah. There are people who make like $10,000 a month on Patreon making that shit, and it's
because you just rip that Overwatch model of like fucking whoever, and then just put some giganto titties on there, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck yeah, this owns." Thank you for
Yeah.
knowing how to do 3D animation. I sure don't.
Thank you. Thank you for revolutionizing.
I went to school for the wrong reason. Is what I'm saying.
I learned the wrong way to animate.
That's
what I
right.
learned.
Yeah, thank you, Overwatch SFM porn, for revolutionizing how Blender works.
That's
Oh, no.
correct.
No, we
promise
can't credit Overwatch. We
Yes, I
have
was
to
about to
credit
say.
Ken Levine.
Yes.
The only
Yeah.
thing you have to give it to Ken Levine is that he made Elizabeth.
He made Elizabeth, and he said, "Please don't make porn of Elizabeth. She is like my daughter." And the entire internet went, "Oh, she's your daughter, huh?"
Bet, huh?
Unzip noise.
Well, you should.
Everyone cucked Ken Levine that night.
Everybody. Oh, that's another good title.
Use that title. I came up with the other one. This one's even funnier.
They're both good. Everyone cucked Ken Levine that night. Fuck.
I'm going to argue for Phil Spencer and the Popemobile
Me
for
too.
thematic relevance to the
So
episode.
I agree.
here is
That's
my
fair.
here is my challenge to the rest of my hosts.
Uh-huh.
Whoever brings me the title card gets to pick the title of the episode.
I'll get to work, boss.
Oh my god.
If you hear me typing on the podcast, it's just like,
No, you
just
didn't.
Google a picture of the Popemobile. Opening.
Saturn. I'm sorry, Saturn. You can't
Uh-huh.
just use the Popemobile. You have to use the Simpsons version of the Popemobile. I know what to do.
Simpsons Popemobile.
Well, while
I
you're
know
doing
what to do.
that, thank you to everyone for listening to this podcast. Thank you to Broke for free use of background music. Excuse me, let me try that again. Thank you to Broke for free use of background music. You can follow us all on our social medias. You can email us at thegorgepodcast.bsky.social. Go to join our Discord and play Final Fantasy 14 with us, or fucking whatever. Talk about Traum and
That's
Twin
right.
Peaks
Talk about FGO with me.
and all kinds of crazy shenanigans and goofings around in there.
Goof troops.
Yeah, yeah, that'll do it. Patreon.com/thegorge.
Right.
Again, we did House of the Dead 2, and it was really bad, except for that part where Virgil was there.
That's right. No, let him hurgle. It's funny. He's allowed to hurgle at the end of the episode.
Give us money so that Sarah can buy her dog's new toys.
That's right. Please.
Peanut goes through one like once every 5 minutes.
That's right.
She
Why
needs
are
the
you-
money.
Hey, why are you humiliating me like this on the podcast? I don't remember agreeing to this.
Please, my little man. He needs something. He
Not
needs
right.
anything to chew.
Never right, Peanut.
He's so sad all of the time. My little man, he for the low price of $2 a month, you can buy Peanut a cheap pillow from the thrift store that he will destroy in 15 minutes. Have you ever thought about that?
It's worth
That's
it.
a good
It's
cause.
worth every
I promise.
penny.
It's worth every penny. I will personally send you a picture of my dog. Actually, no. If you give me money on patreon.com/thegorge and I buy a dog toy with it, I will send you a picture of my dog enjoying that dog toy.
That's the new $10 tier, is that you get exclusive pics of Peanut and Diva. I'm going to add that to the Patreon site tonight.
I love that, actually.
We'll
Please do.
make a private channel on the Discord only for Sarah to post exclusive dog pictures.
That's right. Exclusive pictures of Peanut and Diva. And if you send me money and I buy them toys with that money, you can see those dogs enjoying those toys. You're welcome. That's a noble cause, people. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you can sponsor an extremely pathetic pit bull who just really loves tearing apart stuffed animals.
Isn't that right, Peanut?
Ain't that right now?
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you? The most pathetic sounds.
I think it's fuck Phil Spencer.
Oh, this isn't even fuck Phil Spencer. I hope he burns in the deepest pit of hell forever.
That's correct.
Something needs. This isn't fuck Phil Spencer. This is something needs to be done about Phil Spencer.
That's correct.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna take a radical take on this week's final fuck you. Fuck Bobby Kotick. I wish I could make $350 million that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish I could get paid $350 million to do nothing and make everyone else's life worse.
I wish I could be paid $350 million to make Microsoft's life harder.
That's true. Think about it that way. Shush,
If you
Eva.
think about it
Bobby
that way,
Kotick
he's a
made
hero.
Bobby Kotick made $350 million to ruin the Xbox games division. That's great. So, fuck
I'm
Bobby
not going
Kotick.
to call him a hero
No.
because he made $350 million and thus my words mean nothing to him.
That's correct. But fuck him. I wish I could do that. That's what I'll say.
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.
Hey.